Oh, shit. Twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. And do you want more? It's an encore, more than before. Infidels back in the house with the Brooklyn Born. We're back here, twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. MSG just wrapping up the veteran Locker Room Friday, Ultra Declassified Kayfabe taping on a Thursday. And we appreciate that, man. Switch Up September is going strong. And glad to see him back in the saddle again. He's ready. He's been out working with his B-boy team, working on his head spins. He's doing all kinds of shit. Look at him. He's Adidas out today. It's the one. It's the only MC RBV. How you doing, brother?
Ben, thank you, sir. Yeah, good to be back. The RBV back on the HMG with MSG. I was looking forward to BRV, but I guess we just get Hamin, so we're all right.
Sorry. Billy Ray Valentine informed me that he had to write his final for his college graduate paper, so didn't get to watch all of it. So I said, no worries. Try to jump on with us next week. That's more important than this. So.
No excuses. No excuses. I mean, what's more important than AEW Dynamite?
Merciless. And we want to say what's up to our boy, the Chris Silvio. This morning I told him, take the day off, buddy. Work on getting yourself right. You know, we want his health to be at the highest as it can be. He's going through rehabilitation for his CTE and brain injury and whatnot from wrestling. And, you know, I don't ever want to push him too far and get too much. Not when I can push these two over the edge and get whatever I want out of them. But, you know, we miss Chris Silvio. I know he's pumped about AEW. Plenty to talk about with our friends and people we know and care about. Getting a shot there now as the scene changes, maybe for the better, but the production last night with 2 tough shows in a row. So we'll go through them all, man, and hopefully we can pick out some good points and see what needs to change. It's Light the Fuse, Switch Up September at Hamin Media Group. So we're glad to have different eyes on the product and maybe have some different viewpoints here. I see some Punk first to the chat room with the bits. Appreciate you, Briz. And they were here last night for the late night AEW watch along and the Conspiracy Horseman, where we kind of watched the unfolding of possibly the Civil War in real time in Louisville. Kicking off. So very, very strong shows in the last 24 hours here at Hamin Media Group and hackerhamin.podbean.com or wherever it is, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Spotify. It's going down everywhere. You guys can find us. You know, if you're here, you're part of the underground. You're not dealing with the propaganda. You're part of the truth resistance movement. You know, that is so bastardized. Hopefully we can just have open discourse and talk honestly, but we're going to escape down south to Florida for some phony ass wrestling to escape at this time. But that's just how we do it in this fantasy world, guys. So MSG, thank you for running the board this morning and welcome back and welcome to the Light the Fuse, guys.
Yeah, what's up? You know, and now I know how you feel, Ben, after you've just done a 2-hour show with Stevie. And you're like, what the fuck am I even going to talk about on AEW besides AEW? Like, I just spent 2 hours talking all that. I'm thinking about, like, I don't want to go through all these fucking headlines again. I just went through all with you. Like,
yeah, dude, it ain't easy being Hamin, right? Everybody thinks it's easy being the culture vulture, the fat pussy-o, the fucking whatever it is, man. But until you wear the fucking boots, then you really don't know. You don't have a clue what it is. But it comes with a greater reward when I see my guys, my soldiers leveling up. And Matt, we're all real proud of you moving to Denver and your new position there. You're moved into the new swanky bachelor pad digs and all that, man. And the place looks hot over there. I just can't wait to see what the next year holds for you for success. You're doing great things, but yeah, that's part of it, man. You've upped yourself to executive producer. Now be the master controller and be like, how the fuck does he do these shit shows back to back to fucking back? Yeah, pal, that's what we do. We're used to doing shit shows. We'll get our retribution here today.
Well, I got a couple headlines. We'll talk about AEW headlines, that is. So one I did, of course, skip. I tried to skip over, and I did manage to not talk about it on the Friday Locker Room, was top AEW star Lance Archer. Unfortunately, has tested positive for COVID-19, forcing a last-minute main event change last night. So last night, it was advertised. It was supposed to be Lance Archer, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks taking on Orange Cassidy, and Mox, and somebody else, the third guy, Hobbs, I'm sorry. So it was supposed to be a 6-man tag. Unfortunately, when Lance Archer got home, he said he returned from the show. A family member was ill. I found out later that a friend who had taken my family member to the vet for our Dachshund was COVID positive. Dachshund.
Dachshund. Dachshund is actually probably closer if you were actually saying it in German. But yeah.
I was trying to. While at home, now I've also gotten sick tested positive. I feel okay. Expect to see me in 2 weeks. So weirdly enough, somebody made, I think it was, I forget who it was in the Hamin media group. So I apologize. You're going to know who you are if you listen back. He said that why would they come out and advertise this versus if he's going to be back in time for the pay-per-view, and Mox wasn't already set to defend the title last night. So why didn't they just have Archer cut a promo from the house and be like, you know what? We changed our mind. We're not going to tag with Brian Cage and Taz and Ricky Starks. They could go fuck themselves. We'll see you in 2 weeks at the pay-per-view. And that's all they had to do, right? I mean, that's one option. I'm just throwing things out.
Right. Well, they undercut their own creative. And last week when they tied them together, it was as plotty and as terrible as anything I'd seen. I had these guys are supposed to be at odds, but now they're, brother, we need to be on the same team, brother. And okay. This is just Band-Aid on a broken leg for bad creative that wasn't thought out. You can feel it while it's happening in front of you. They did it in WWE plenty of times this week as well. So they're not the only ones mea culpa for this. It is interesting to stooge it off. Does that make them look like we're woke? And we talk about COVID, maybe as compared to WWE, but anything that you do to take a monster and lower him and make him human is a mistake. It's a complete mistake every time. And they did it twice on this show in the ring. So let alone the statement of whatever it is along those lines, again, they're separating the fantasy from what they want to be as reality, and it kills their fantasy part of the product. And it's not well thought out moves like that. Where is your marketing and PR CEO to fucking, squash some of this stuff?
Probably taking some booty shots. That's where she's at.
Oh.
She's poolside. Hey, I'm with you, MSG. I was kind of disappointed with this inside of it, but I thought they would play off of the COVID because, as Ben's saying, AEW, that they're that progressive. They're out there. They're in touch with you. They're not going to try to lie to you. They know what's happening in real world. But what's one of the things you regularly hear was conversation going on over on Facebook and Hamin Media Discussion Group is that Moxley just seems so weak as the champion there. And to me, a lot of that is because there's no fire or fuel behind his feuds. Nothing is personal there. They could have played into this thing where it is very personal because we've just had Moxley just a month ago miss because of COVID. I would have loved to seen Jake the Snake cut some kind of promo via Zoom, Skype, whatever it might be.
You got us sick, right?
You did this. Hey, or you could play it into that sexual innuendo, Archer was spending some time with your wife, and I guess he caught it too. Something along, something that makes
it. You take a reality and you blur the lines. We did no line blur here. Here's the phony world, and the real world fucked our phony world instead of interweaving the two. And how can you expect a guy who's never run a Fed or written anything creatively in his life to be able to do that kind of stuff if he's not going to reach out and ask for help, if he thinks every idea is perfect that's coming out of his mind?
Absolutely. And I mean, you could have played off this thing and made it personal with Moxley. That, or even if Moxley just intentionally got him sick, it's because he's afraid of the supposed monster. I don't know what's going to do more damage for Archer here, if it's going to be 2 weeks missed with COVID or going 30 seconds with Marco stunt, because he still hasn't recovered from that shit.
Not a bad point there at all, dude. And that kind of echoes, again, what we're going to talk about on the show today of, got to know your guys and their size and what you're doing with them. And the fans want to see wrestling for X amount of time is such bullshit, dude. And you're giving them this weird power to wrestle where then the moves mean nothing. And guys are just in there wrestling. Size means nothing. Pecking order means nothing. We're just in there doing shit to do it. And nobody wants to see that. I don't know why that idea is in their fucking minds, bro.
Yeah, I'm not sure. John Alba, of course, reported as well that there was apparently more than just Lance Archer. The collaborative report states that multiple wrestlers and talent who were present at AEW September 9th tapings tested positive for COVID-19 in the 2 weeks following on from that. However, it is unknown if those tests were done separately or if they were done at tapings themselves. as we already knew about Lance Archer. Doesn't look like the copy here has mentioned the actual wrestlers, other wrestlers that were potentially tested positive. Just Lance Archer is the only one mentioned.
Well, we talked about the big outbreak at WWE and NXT.
NXT, right?
For 38.
Yep.
And guess what, dude? Outside of this, you've seen it on Instagram. Who's at NXT hot chick?
Rick, you'll know.
Was that a bunch of them? I don't know. Is Charlotte back there?
I thought you were coming on. Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green's with who?
Ryder.
Matt Cardona.
Ryder. Who's best friends with?
Cody.
How do you not see this shit spreading? Like, I can go 15 of these. I can go. You're
right. Yeah, you're right. Renee to Mox to other people. Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Well,
hang out, bro. When
their other boy over at Impact,
Kingston gets done at AEW, they go back home. They're hanging out with Skrull, watching tape. They're like, it's all the Florida clique of indie guys who moved there, who are over. They're all, it doesn't matter if it's NXT or AEW, they're all friends on the outside, stooging to each other, and they're all having barbecues, all hanging out at the covered pools together. They are. I know they are every week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not making that shit up. Like, what do you expect to happen?
You got Britt Baker and Adam Cole. You got Swole and the gentleman who just joined the Hurt Business. They're all linked together.
But they try and put it over as he just got COVID or whatever, and they didn't wear their masks or whatever. And dude, the stooge core of Florida is strong as shit, and they hang out together constantly. At the end of the day, it's more fear tactics. Go back and look at any Royal Rumble ever, probably, and there was probably 3 guys in it with the flu who, if you punched them hard enough, would shit their pants in the ring. And some of them may have, but from taking a bump. That's the flu with 104 fever, chills, fucking puking, pissing. Guess what? You make the fucking show. What is COVID? Oh, I can't smell, and I get a little sweaty, and that's it. Give everybody COVID then, because it ain't shit. It's a minor modern cold that's been used to fucking destroy businesses, destroy America, keep everyone under house arrest. And we hear that word and we have, oh, he's got COVID. Oh my God, don't get near him. Meanwhile, it's less effective at death than the common cold. And we know the numbers have been juked. It's only 5% possibly of what's being reported. They said 9,600 after they reported 200,000. So tell me what's real. If I even want to go with 9,600, how the fuck am I supposed to believe that that's real after you lied to me? So you've been caught in one lie, but no, now here's the real number that's only 5%. So believe that one. No thanks. Let's just be men and women, get a goddamn cold, take some zinc, show up, do your booking, sweat it out for 2 weeks, and everybody's going to get it eventually, instead of this head fuck that it's like, he's got it. He's got to be banned. Got to be banned.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I think that definitely, if your health is in poor, your older age, even maybe your young child, you might be more susceptible to it. But we're talking about athletes here who are in the gym, constantly working out, eating right. Like, as Disco has said it multiple times, like, you're going to get it. It's a common cold. You get sick, but if you're working out and you're eating right, your body's going to be able to fight it off, and you're going to be able to get over it in no time. So I definitely agree there. They should just, maybe have some COVID parties. RBV Fitness.
I would even play it into the win-loss record and know that guys who tested positive for COVID may seem weaker, and that's why they get beat, and they can blame it on COVID, and somebody else can get a win in their win-loss record, and they can come back and avenge that later. But we can't even get to that point of using reality and creativity.
I think your big difference there is the audience here is this social justice mindset, where you look at someone, if it happens inside WWE, they're so vilified because it's that evil empire. But when it happens to AEW, they're brave, they're fighting through this, whatever the case might be. I guess to pull back the curtain a little bit of my own business, where I've been, I've had 2 grandparents that are dealing with COVID issues. They have been in the hospital. Since coming out of that, my grandmother in her 70s will still, because people have always been, wait till it happens to you. Wait till it affects your family. Well, my 70-something-year-old grandma came right out, and she still says, fuck what they're doing to society. Fuck that they're shutting things down. We need to keep pushing forward. This is going to happen to people. And both of my grandparents will even, they'll talk to that. You don't want to lose anybody, but if somebody does happen to pass away because of this, that's just human nature. It's the machine rolling on.
I can't disagree with that. Not that I want anything bad to happen to your grandparents, but it seems like you have a pretty grounded and solid perspective on the bullshit versus the reality.
Absolutely. And believe me, my grandma's the first one. She's God-fearing. She sat in there and pretty much, she didn't watch television. She just prayed the whole time is what she said. But she realized coming out but that's how she was brought up. She's raised by nuns. That's her mindset. But she realizes that things like this happen. In her mind, if someone would pass away, it was just kind of meant to be there. But the rest of society doesn't need to just come to a halt just because of a simple speed bump in our way.
No, and the fact that it's become a boogeyman in Florida because of this, if anything, this is the opportunity to show that it's not that bad and you can operate with it, get it, and kick out with no problem whatsoever, and that you can go back to work just like you normally would with the common fucking cold, bro. It's just absolutely asinine the way they're not using it, and they think they're cute because they actually put it over, and where WWE is dumb, deaf, and blind to even calling it in these difficult times. They have to rename that type of shit because because Vince is a germaphobe at the end of the day, right? And he won't sell for the common cold even. So if I'm not selling, nobody's selling.
Really in the big picture, after all these months of this, looking at how WWE's handled it's a little bit refreshing because everyone else is just shoving it down your throat. At least when you watch their programming, you're not going to hear about it at all. Yeah,
I guess to some degree, but you're going to see the reaction to it that makes the creative shitty and makes them look stupid.
Well, I think COVID or not, the creative's just going to be shitty anyway now.
I think everybody should just make out and get COVID and get the fuck over it, bro.
And put it on the airwaves. We want to see them making out.
Yeah, Keith Lee and Randy Orton, a heavy makeout scene. Everybody wants to see
everybody back in the pile.
All right, I've got one more short story here before we get into the reviews. So Jericho is going to be celebrating 30 years next week. 30 years of Chris Jericho, and it's going to be live on AEW Dynamite. Your perspective, Ben, I know you basically saw Chris Jericho break into the business, right? I mean, you grew up in that area where he kind of got his popularity in ECW. Of course, the Canadian connection there being only, hundreds of miles away at the border. What are your thoughts on Chris Jericho's his long-lasting career, and it's continuing on?
I think it's great. I love it. I mean, I just celebrated my 30th year in performance, not just wrestling, but started acting when I was 12 years old professionally. And I've never missed a year of performance, where I've sold tickets to some degree. So I know what that long road and legacy is. And to do it all in wrestling, where I've only got my 14th year, to do 30 in that biz is a lot on your body, especially coming through ECW and WCW. And he's always worked safe, never taken a lot of risks, but at the same time, when it's time to main event, he'll do what needs to be done. And, it doesn't matter. Even a small bump is enough to jar that disc in your back for the next year. So it's Chris Jericho. The guy had the best debut in the history of Raw. Coming over as the Y2J thing, hands down. There's never been anything better than that. It was phenomenal. Whether you liked him in Japan, whether you liked him as ECW, Lionheart, or you liked him with Ralphus, which I loved his stuff with Ralphus in WCW. That showed, I can take anything, especially this truck driver scumbag dude, and make him a little thing in a half shirt. Give me anything, a list, a scarf, a light up jacket, a fat truck driver, I will get it over. And that's what he's magical at. And he does it in an entertaining way. I think he also might have seen himself on camera. I'm pretty sure he just had some fresh Botox done compared to how he looked 2 weeks ago to how he looked last night on camera. All the crow's feet were gone. You could even see his lips were sank back in behind his cheeks, kind of like how Natty and the rest of the girls over there look now. But hey, Y2J's got to stay pretty, I guess, to be on the road. And the fact of what he's done with Fozzy outside of it, I mean, that alone is an incredible thing to accomplish. But him being a rock star or him being a wrestler did help that get going. But again, that's branching out, saying I'm not just going to stay in my lane and pigeonhole myself like so many wrestlers are told to do. I'm going to go out and be creative, and there's no stopping what I can do at this point. So Chris Jericho, guys would say he wasn't big enough to be in wrestling. Well, fuck you, bro. Character trumps all. And when you got some fundamentals to back it up in the ring and your finisher stays over I never really liked when he went from Lion Tamer to Walls of Jericho, just the double leg crab. The original Lion Tamer where you're stacked on your fucking neck, and that was always better to me. That's probably
cool.
It's the only switch I can really think of where I was like, that's one thing I didn't like that changed in Jericho. And maybe he's doing it because it's safer than doing it on guys. Maybe he did it for his opponents. And if he did, then that means even more as a professional. You know what I mean? But as a fan, that'd be the only dig that I could probably take on him. But it's Y2J, man. In my opinion, definitely a top fiver of who gets it and is one of the best ever to do it in this business.
Rick, before you jump in, I just want to correct myself. The show actually takes place in 2 weeks. I'm sorry, on October the 7th. Go ahead, Rick. Can you think about maybe, I don't know, your favorite Chris Jericho moment, something that stands out to you?
I was pretty fortunate. The uncles that could kind of guided me and showed me professional wrestling. They were tape traders. So I remember getting to see him back in Smoky Mountain when Cornette had first brought him and Lance Storm in as the Thrill Seekers. And one of the great stories back then is, in those territories, you bring in these good-looking young babies. They've got to take care of some of your ring rats in the towns. And Jericho wanted nothing to do with that because he didn't want to be touching that deep South kind of stereotype ring rat that you had going on. And Storm was married at the time, and he was, a very faithful husband. So Cornette would be furious with these two that they wouldn't, put over the ring rats. Jericho would be, out of the building, out of the area.
Likes to party, though, man. He likes to party. When he came to do OVW Summer Sizzler Series, we all went out to Rock Bar at 4th Street Live. That was one of the coolest nights because we showed up with him. Like, we always could go crash Rock Bar, but VIP section closed down. Jericho bought 6 bottle service for Grey Goose for all the boys, man. He loves vodka. But that was one of the nights where yeah, we're rolling high step. And especially for me being in the business 18 months and a greenhorn, I've been around other celebrities, but that was okay, we're doing something different. Miz was there that night too. So, yeah, man, Jericho, every interaction I've ever had with him, fan-wise watching him or being on a show with him, the consummate pro. And I really like his podcast too, to be honest with you, how he's into a lot of the same things we are. I don't know if I like the letting down of the guard of his character, but he's earned it at 30 years. He absolutely can do that.
I think what's important with him is you've been talking about, when we look at top 5 and sometimes when we talk about all-time greats, about those who get how to work inside the business, Jericho's got himself elevated to a level where he's kind of beyond that top tier, where he's at a spot now where he goes where he wants, when he wants, and does whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. And that's how he rolls. I guess a personal thing that I always remember is he's in my top 3 all-time favorites. Just the evolution of him, coming up as a fan and watching him make the most out of situations where he was one of those people that you really remember getting himself over, as Ben was talking about. Give him an inch and he'll go a mile with it. But I do remember I was in so much trouble. I think I grounded for a month because I cost my family their AOL account because I went off on a rant when they had the audacity to put China over him. And how much of a shame that was to the great Y2J. So,
I bet that was his idea. I bet that was Jericho's idea. He sees where there's opportunity to do something and did it. Sorry you got banned off.
I'm going to say 15, 16-year-old me had no idea about that time. I just saw that, holy shit, how could they do this to Jericho?
Well, and he got it. That shows how fired up it got you too, right? To have to react to that, right. Man. That's what he's been. Even the fact that he can just do a quick Furley. You just made the list, and the crowd would pop massive. Remember, they jumped the shark with it like everything, but remember in the beginning how fucking you just made the list, how over that was, bro. Massive. Speaking of massive, I'm going to call a massive talent right now.
Well, I was also going to point out that my favorite Chris Jericho moment was Royal Rumble 2012. I was there in Phoenix when he came out and did 48 minutes after not wrestling for 2 or 3 years anywhere on television, mainly did the Fozzy thing. That was my favorite Chris Jericho moment.
Excellent. Hey, you there, champ?
Yep.
man. What's up, bro?
Hey, man. Glad you can hear me. Hold on one second here. Yeah. On the line right now, you guys, legendary OVW champion tag team wrestler, a guy I got a lot of respect for. Charles, the Hammer Evans, is in the house, you guys. I love talking to him on Messenger. And for Shake Up September, I want to have as many great guests calling as we can. So thanks for calling in. You're on live right now with AEW Light the Fuse review, man.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem, man. And the thing I really like about this is the conversations we have. Not that I like that you get fired up and get hot, but you're one of the last of a generation. Now you're one of the last of a generation of what I consider the real men of wrestling. Now there are some in AEW. There's no doubt about that. But the way they're working is absolutely brutal to watch, based on how we were taught at OVW. Obviously, Rick Rogers fundamentals, also Psychology 101, man. And every week, you're really giving great feedback in our personal discussions of why are they doing this or this is missing. We're just on the same page, and I'm just happy to have you on Hamin Media Group, Charles. So welcome to the show, man. And what are you thinking about AEW overall right now?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me again, bro. I'm glad like I said, I met you. I knew I connected with you when I first met you years ago. So
yeah, man.
But with the way they're going, personally, okay. If you have a new company, why not? I understand you want to get the company over, but as a whole, if you're going to play book backwards, you need to have the professionalism there from the top, so it can trickle down. Okay, and with the I respect what they're doing with the new age, with the metrosexual stuff. Okay, if I put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. I get that. But if you're going to do that, you need to take that and put that where it needs to be. For example, you got this. You have the Nyla Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand what they're doing with she, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But she needs to be working with the guys and take Funny King and put her with the females, because
right,
she's going to hurt somebody. All right, and you can tell in discernment. You can tell. Okay, so you must have an issue with females, or you want to be one. So if you're going to be one, you need to work like one, not like a man.
Right.
You need to bring Awesome Kong back and shut this crap down, man. Because that's you're killing what you're trying to get over. And with the coach, and then with the chops, right? I'm trying to figure out, if you can't throw good chops, then why throw them? Why not put it over? If you put it over 2-1, it'll get over more.
Mm-hmm.
But just meat chopping for about 10 minutes, and you're not going anywhere with that.
Oh, so, I think that's them just being straight up mark out for New Japan. We gotta go 50-50 in the middle of the match, so all the heat we work doesn't mean shit, just so we can get this real violence in, and then we'll bury that in another 2 minutes as well. So it's just a spot at this point. And if, like you said, they were throwing some chops in Moxley Kingston last night, and Kingston's chops were definitely registering a lot more than Mox's were.
So right there, Psychology said, let me put this over. Let me work around this. Don't let me not stand there and shit on myself. And I'm like, God Almighty! If I was the owner of TNT, if I was like the major network conglomerate, I'd scrap this show.
Yeah, I'm
telling you, because I said it before. At some point in time, this cow that they're sucking dry is going to run dry. And this cow's going to get he's out of here, because all this. Got X amount of people in this roster. It's like, where are you going with this money that you're putting into the talent? It has to come back to you. And at some point, if you don't get the money back, these guys are going to go away.
Well, the fact that you even open up with, who was it? Brodie Lee? What was the opening match with the big guy? Who was the opener?
Tech match opened with Miro.
Miro, yeah. So if you're going to bring in Miro, gas to the gills, and you're going to have him with the other three small guys, when he tags in, that's it, right?
That's
That's it. He kills everybody.
Yeah.
Instead, they do that and they go back and run another 6 minutes.
You go outside. I was like, this is it. He's gonna smash. He's gonna squash all this shit. Boom, boom, boom. Gets in there. 15, 20 minutes of like screwing around. I'm like,
you can swear all you want, Hammer.
yeah, I'm good now. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. I'm a limit, man. I was like, you fucking kidding me? This is how you come out? This is you guys, okay, towards the big guys. Like,
did you like it? Did you like it? Did you like it last week when he came out in a pink Mickey Mouse shirt and grandma pajamas for his debut as well?
I was like, that was going down shit. It was down the toilet. I knew that. Down the toilet. Like, down the toilet. Oh no, not this again. Because you have to, as a man, okay, if you have any type of whatever your foundation is. Well, I guess I know it's a new age, but I'm not part of that. I guess that's why I didn't get along with, like, say, Dustin Rhodes only to like a degree, because we had the same. When you try to talk, I was the oldest guy there, so he couldn't really run that jive on me. I think so he and I didn't mesh. Like he messed with other people, but because the concept is, if you're going to be on this television, it's not about, for me, be on that show. There's so many ways they can go with just the basics. I mean, you actually, I wrote some stuff down.
Please.
I mean, man, they could take, what did I write down? Okay.
This is how hot this guy's getting. He didn't even know he was going to be a guest on the show until 15 minutes ago. He's writing down shit that gets him pissed off. That pops the shit out of me.
I'm telling you, man. I write stuff. I'm like, man, if I ever get a chance to say some of this, because, like, I try to be honest and tell a person straight up, because, like, while I was on the contract, I had Elle and Danny telling me things, but you had to go away to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, and then once you can get that, now it's the time is now. It takes years later, a different time, but you can try to. Okay, this is how you can get less out of more. You say you punch me one time, let me sell that shit. Because sometimes maybe some guys need to go to Puerto Rico, where you can't go now, but to see how they do it down there, to get that rhythm of the big wahs and all of that stuff, and they can implement all of that. You'll blow the roof off the place. But with the AEW dark, I think since you have like 11 matches, that's like a territory. Why not? I'm sure with all the money they have, they can figure something out to keep the show alive. Because with all that, if you keep flushing that shit down us, you keep shoving Thunder, bless her heart, you keep shoving Thunder Rosa down her freaking throats. She looked lost with the chick from Puerto Rico. Yeah, bless her heart. I know. I worked in Puerto Rico. I know what a real Puerto Rican looks like. And you're from New York, so you know too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what you call kind of like indie work.
Yeah, indie-rific, man. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but that's not Jody. I've seen a few girls from PR. That's not it. What you're saying, that's why Thunder Rosa looked like shit last night. She went from looking like a star from Serena to back down.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, they have nobody else there that know how to do any fucking thing except when you look lost, sitting in a hole, that means you don't know what the shit you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I'm lost now. So what spot am I going to run and hit now off the ropes?
They even feed for the hold. Like, they don't let their opponent like struggle for it. They'll put their arm around them and get into a full Nelson by like, oh, we're doing that now. I better get my hands up for it. Don't make it any struggle. Yeah. It's paint by numbers, man.
That's it. So that's what I'm saying. Well, okay, in about, let's say they've been around for about a year now. I guess a year now.
Just coming up on a year, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now. You think if you want to book towards your anniversary show, maybe like the end of your year show, or a show that will help elevate you, continuously elevate you, but what are you going to do with when everything you got is, for example, if I'm working with a guy and he has a shirt on or a leather jacket on, why am I going to chop him? Why am I going to do that? Why chop him? Why bear? No, you don't know that. You don't know. Little things like that, knowing, okay, if he can chop me like this, I'm chopping him back. Well, first of all, I shouldn't chop him back because I should pull his straps down and light his ass up. But no,
right.
If you don't do that, then freaking counter out, man. It just little things like that can help you. And I'm saying also I wrote down like, okay, with Arn Anderson and Blanchard, I know they're getting paid, but there's no way you can tell me that these predecessors went through what they went through to put over guys like Nikita Koloff, to put over guys who were stiff as freaking bricks and make them look like stars. I don't know how they sit there and watch this stuff.
Yeah, just to collect the paycheck. Yeah.
But once that freaking paycheck runs out, bro, I'm telling you, because T. Khan, he's more for himself. But once he shits this down the toilet, his dad's not going to give him any more money or whatever you want to contractually do it. His dad's like, I'm not wasting my time with this bullshit. He's out of there. And there you go.
But that's the problem. That's the problem, though. I can't believe Tully and Arn don't see it. Sure, they want to collect the check, but that check's not going to be there as long if they don't regulate the company and do shit the right way. So there's yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
There's no freaking way. I was at Raw and SmackDown interviews 15,000 freaking times, listening to Arn tell me certain things, hearing certain things at damn production show. There's no freaking way. I'm like, so when OVW guys came around, you guys acted like jackasses and assholes.
Yeah.
And now 15 years later, when your nuts not big, now you walk around like a metrosexual man your damn self.
Yeah.
Now the light's coming out on it. You see?
Yep.
So no way. It needs to. If not, this company will go away. Now, the stuff they do, I understand. Like watching Spears and Seidel, of course, like watching them in class. So
sure.
That was no problem. That was no brainer. That was.
But it's a killer knowing that Spears is there. He's been reinvented 5 times and failed, because they can't get behind him or do the only thing. Well, we watched Cody and Spears. I put this over 100 times as one of the best OVW feuds in the history of the company.
Bro, in the what was it? 05?
Yeah,
06?
It was 06.
Yeah. I remember oh my goodness, man, you made me think that because I remember. We did a double shot a couple of times, and we had to set that freaking cage up. It took all day.
Yeah, just so he could jump off it. Yeah,
just to jump off it. I get back there.
That cage was high as a motherfucker too. That was a high ass fucking cage to go off the top of, man. I think the real question here that our audience wants to know, Hammer, is how long would it take for you to beat Orange Cassidy? I know last night it took 15 minutes. If you had your chance, you think you would go that long?
No, I think I'll probably pack my bag and go home because I'm not going to get in there. There's no freaking way. It's like, okay, you want me to get in here with a metrosexual guy? You want me to be this black killer? Not as big as I used to be, which is good because now I'm more elusive now. So, but there's no way to get in there with a guy. The same thing if it's like, if I asked Jim Cornette to watch my match, hey, I'm working on Cassie. He said, okay, what do you do? If I don't get rid of this guy in like 3 minutes or less,
you're buried.
Cornette will talk to me.
Yeah, you're buried. If you can't beat him in under 3 minutes, what the fuck are you as a killer? And that was Brodie Lee and Miro back to back, kind of both getting exposed by people they should have fucking eaten their lunch in under 2 minutes.
Yeah, but that tells me on the flip side of the other aspect of like the Tony Baloney bull crap, somebody back there needs to have the nuts in the ball and say, hey, eyeball, especially if you've been around trying to walk on eggshells around the benches in the
sure.
around that vicinity. Once you come from around that bullshit, now you're free. Now you can say what you want to say and you've grown a little bit. Now you know more, and especially in life. So now you're able to say, hey, this is what I learned from this man that told me that came from OVW. This is what I learned from Tony Allen. These are the words I remember hearing him tell me when you go into business for yourself. This is what Alcino said. You have to be able to say, okay, the training that we got, we have to be able to implement that to whoever the freak is writing this crap or Al taught you. You are your own promoter and booker your own self.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know your own business. And if you're just in there just popping yourself, they don't know their own business.
No.
I don't mean disrespect to that, but if the only people, the veterans, if the mentors are there and they're not telling you, hey, when you slam that guy, matter of fact, somebody should tell me, hey, you get Rick Brodie's book so we can get this stuff together because we're killing this shit. We're killing this. There's no freaking way for a giant Mexican Luchasaurus guy to walk like he's a freaking cruiserweight. Like, he doesn't know any better. I'm like, no, you don't need to do shit. You don't need to do
every cruiserweight should come out and start doing gorilla press slams instead.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're a big motherfucker and you're gonna work like a 205, then fuck it. I'm 205. I'm gonna work like I'm 415.
That's right. Don't fucking talk. Put that shit over. Watch how that person will get over on top of the other crap.
Yep.
And I'll leave that work because right now, all they see when I watch this show, okay, I kind of blew through it this morning, trying to see if I pick up, but on the replay, it's like we were in class, but the next day, I said, and from a corporate level, like I do with my shoe job, if I'm watching my product back, what am I looking at? Who sits at the round? Who sits around and chops it up, man? The fans, okay, let's get the pen and paper out. Let's figure out this shit out. What did we do good? What did we do wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. Seriously though, if you think see, when you have money coming out your wazoo like that, you don't think ahead in a futuristic point of view to know, okay, man, we kicked out 50,000 already. Are we gonna make it's kind of like what Jim Cornette would say, right? His philosophy.
Yeah.
You know, okay, am I gonna make 100? I mean, I give him 50. Am I gonna make 100,000 back, or am I gonna end up losing more? You know, so from that aspect, and the guys who whatever they getting paid, and that's my bad. Okay, are they paying people through direct deposit, or are they doing how Vince does through the old school with the paycheck in the mail?
Right.
You know, so and if the talent would understand that or speak on that and not be scared, well, we're not gonna be on the show right because you spoke up. Fuck it. You know,
why expose yourself going 15 minutes with a guy when you can speak up, go 3, maybe have a little heat and show him, because the booker is really the one that needs to sit down and do the Al Snow tape review class, because he's never been educated to do that. That's why he thinks we're going to do wrestling. We're going to do wrestling. Okay, you can do that with some people with the revival, you know, but if you're going to hire big men, you got to book them like big men. Otherwise, you just undercut all your investment. Why did you even spend that money? You know, if it's big man versus big man and you want to pull some time, that's fine. But with these things that they look like they're fighting a guy who works in the mall food court, they got to be squashes. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not protecting your investment at all, man. And you know, you were probably in the biggest David and Goliath story in the history of wrestling with Floyd Mayweather and the Big Show. So you've seen what needs to happen. Even if a little man goes over, Floyd Mayweather didn't pull 15 minutes with the Big Show. You know, the longer they go, the more exposed and bad spots can happen. And we've just been seeing this week after week, whether it's Brian Cage, Murder Hawk.
Dude, man, I was gonna tell my brother, hey, bro, look, man. See, I'm at the age now. I was just like, I understand why I didn't get along with Dusty Rhodes. I understand that now. Trust me, I understand now, because my dad just tell me, hey, when you get a certain age, son, there's gonna be things that you're gonna start as a man. You're gonna know. And
well, I gotta cut you off right there, because everyone can put Dusty over to whatever you want. But let's talk about you for just a second, Charles the Hammer Evans. You were a drill sergeant. Am I right on that as well?
Yeah, come on.
So you show up to wrestling in a sea of carny wannabes who may be bodybuilders, who maybe want to be wrestlers, already established as a military drill sergeant. You're a man to the core. What the fuck is anybody going to tell you about fantasy, or you need to dress like grandmama and go out in a fucking wig and a dress? Nobody's going to step to Hammer at that time with that, because it's just ridiculousness. You showed up already with the core heart and mindset of a man, and that's really the biggest difference in the last 15 years, Hammer, I think, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can watch. You can actually sit back, go back. Let's see, maybe 2010. In 2010, let's see. You can see how whoever got over, well, however they got over, well, certain guys could be on top now. Okay, well, this guy who works on top now, I'm giving an example. When I was on the road, right, and I was with shirt and tie. So I remember one of the top guys, he's on AEW now, and I'll tell him this when I see his ass again.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho, right?
Yeah.
Jericho, I was talking with Lauren Nice in catering, and Jericho walked by. I'll never forget this. He made a comment about how I was dressed, and it was in reference to, well, let's see if he can work that way. And I never forgot that shit.
Mm.
And I was like, you walking around here with your fruity booty boots on, you talking shit to me, bitch. I almost snapped. But got that shit, man. I'm serious. Because I was like, I'm gonna tell you something. When I was this is how this works. Like, my daughter is the same age as Aurora, Triple H's daughter.
Okay.
When I came around those guys, Stephanie knew more about my daughter than when she was just born because they were the same age. Triple H would come up to me and talk to me like a fucking man. A few other guys wouldn't say shit, but at least I think what they were trying to do was trying to see, okay, how is this guy going to go? Are we going to turn this guy into like a skirt wearing type guy? Or is he going to be the type of black guy that he's cool with everybody and he just loves everything and just whatever, or does he have a fucking standard? And if you do have a standard, does your standard, is it a standard that they can accept?
Mm-hmm.
And if not, then you have to stand on your own. So that's kind of the way I can see how it didn't. Well, I'm glad it didn't because I was going to understand some stuff because I wasn't going to be cool with all this stuff. I mean, I see the guys who are over now with podcasts and stuff like that, but I can't do the whole true booty thing because that's not me.
Yeah.
And actually, you can still be a heterosexual man and still have respect and stand on your own, and you still have love for people, but they have to know that this is for you're going to go with me, and this is for I'm going to go with this. And speaking of that, sometimes when you work with guys to do the whole metrosexual thing, what they'll try to do is this little shit here with the kiss gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the whole kiss spot bullshit, you can do that, but it needs to be done. And if you try to do it, I've known in the past, I've seen how guys who have worked that gay gimmick,
mm-hmm.
well, they'll go ahead and try to kiss in there on live TV, so you can put the shit over. That's because that's what they want to do anyhow. So when you mess around with the whole metro stuff, I'm not knocking it, but you need to put it in its right place.
Sure.
If not, you should get in there and kick the shit out that guy.
Yeah, it's got its spot. You shouldn't be if Adrian Adonis is prancing around and whatnot, and he's whatever. But if you see the difference in size, you have to put over the power, man.
That's different. Adrian Adonis, those guys, see, they knew how to work that shit.
Yeah,
they knew when to. I was watching some of his stuff the other day. Adrian Adonis because I was like, okay, let me not be negative toward the Metros. Let me try to be open-minded for peace. So let me go do my research. Adrian Adonis, fucking smooth as silk. He knew how to put that shit together the right way.
But you got to admit a little bit once Sonny Kiss starts twerking, Hammer, you were checking it out a little bit. I mean, that ass is
nope.
No.
Yeah, first I said, okay, okay, dude, you go in the bin for your fucking pill.
Yeah.
Get your fucking ass kicked out the fucking way and put the shit over.
Right.
In other words, I knew what he was doing. Like, okay, the camera guy, he couldn't even hit the fucking angles because his ass kicks is in the fucking way. I was like, bullshit. Yeah. I'm like, okay, we're working with you to put your gay stuff over, but now you're going to end up for yourself, dude. That's bullshit. I mean, that's bullshit. You can't get to your cameraman. The kid can't see. If that was Al, let that have been. Let him. If Al would explain that to him, would be the same thing. Why do you have your ass cheeks on the handheld camera or every spot or whatever the case may be? let him, you fail, let the camera do the work. Don't put your ass in front of it. You're killing the fucking business.
Yeah.
That's what Al Smith would tell him.
Sure.
It's telling him I'm true. Because I'm like, as a business perspective, to work with you, to put your shit over, we're putting you over. Why are you doing that? You don't need to up your ass cheek in the fucking way. And another thing, who are you trying to appeal to? Which audience are you trying to get to with the metros? Are you trying to appeal to the metro audience or do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's definitely it's definitely an agenda push to blur the lines, to make straight men look at another man's ass who's effeminate and go, you know what? Maybe I am questioning my own sexuality a little bit. Like that's the only thing I can really see it for, bro.
Yeah. So, and as a man to be around them, you can okay, all right. Let's sit on the catering here. All right, let's say we sit down in catering. You're talking catering. Now, I'm trying to explain myself to the Metros, Nala Rose and Sonny King. All right, I'm trying to explain business here to them. Now, are they able to understand to see the biggest perspective on it, or are they caught up in their own shit? Now, if they're caught up in their own shit, they're not going to see it.
Right.
So,
well, you were around during the time of Rico Constantine when he was on top at OVW. That's how you work the gimmick properly, to pluck the strings of the Southerners who have homophobia, as well as wanting. In the beginning, by the end, they loved him. He was a champion of them. You know what I mean? So,
but they're the right way.
Yeah.
That is my guy. I mean, I didn't care about King SmackDown a couple of times, man. Super cool guy, man.
Yeah.
It seems like if they would take the what I write down. Yeah, if they would take the OVW concept approach to their program, it'll have legs. It will grow, and it will be around. But please tell me you're going to do something other than go sign some. Let me guess, the cabinet, bring back that shit. You know, you're going to go that direction now? Because typically, when a company shits the bed, what do they do? Oh, let's go grab, let's see, the 90s WCW. Let's go grab, let's go get Big Sexy for $50 million, and then he's out. So let's go do that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, which I'm kind of like, oh, please don't let that happen, because it's so. Even if it's not about me being on freaking television, man, just the fact that to be able to see something happen out there. That actually last year there was this one of the Japanese people. She did one thing that caught my attention, and Roderick Strong did something that caught my attention from NXT. She went out there with AEW, I think, when they first started, and she worked for the headlock. Roderick Strong was down in NXT, and he pinned the guy like a freaking heel. He put his foot on the rope at the right time. He was emotional at the right freaking time. Those two things stood out in my mind for the past 8 months, bro. Since all this other shit, crap, whatever. A headlock and putting his foot on the rope because I read Rich book.
Yep. Serena's lockup. Serena's lockup was more than anything quality that we've seen in the entire year of AEW in the first 15 seconds.
It was believable.
Yep.
It was believable. It was believable. You should be able to lock up, and it should look like you're actually locking up, and you should be, of course, we can talk, but you shouldn't be apparent when your body language. It's like, is anyone talking to the boys and the girls? Is anyone telling them? Are they having talent meetings?
No.
Over like, what are we doing? Or is it all about just go out there and get the shit on, figure out how to fucking do this crap? Because
how could they have a tape review of what we saw with Miro or with Brodie Lee this week and go, yeah, that was what we should do more of that? There's no way you can't feel that. So I don't think they even are having a sit down. They just pat themselves on the back, bro, and they're on to the next one.
On to the next one. Is down the drain. So I tried. I can't watch all of the show. I have to pick out or wait an hour before it's already on, so I can DVR some of it to
fast forward.
Try to find something. I know with Serena, right? Set this up.
Yeah.
When Serena was in there banging on Thunder Rosa's knee, beating the crap out of her knee, I said, fail. Yes, fucking fail. Serena's dropping cement blocks on her knee.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. Got her ass right. No, I know what I'm saying. Speaking of that, she got right back up. Didn't even barely register what Serena just did. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Serena just sit there and drove your freaking knee through the mat on the Rosa. She got her ass up, went on outside to a spot. Like last night, the Elacia chick, well, whatever they did, her, the DDT, power drive, whatever that was, whichever way they did it.
Right.
You're on your feet within 5 seconds. That happened to stand up to go get your shit in with your partner. I'm like, you fucking idiot.
Yep. That's your whole opportunity is to sell. Like, you don't have to take no more bumps after Serena works that awesome knee heat on there. The whole thing is you getting away a little bit. And then when you try and make your own comeback, you shoot her off, go in, you come off and you buckle your own knee. It's more heat until you slip over. But they got to go 50-50 Hammer every fucking match.
And guess what? It makes all the shit look like a blur.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say, if they had a freaking tape review, I swear to God, if they had a tape review, I could see how Al would do it. Al would say, guys, sit down. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to put it on fast forward. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. You got anything slow? Anything that looks like something? Jumps and flips and kicks and that's what you see. If you sat down like a coach and turn the volume down and set your class down, or your people who give a crap, or if you want to learn, if I was a outside entity that had money invested in something, I probably won't give a crap how it works as long as it makes you money. Yeah. But I might want to take a little bit of interest in it to see how it might work. So why not sit down in your office in Jacksonville and watch a show back, take notes on it, but okay, for example, your big guys. I think about 2 months ago, you had the Luchasaurus guy and some other big dude. Okay, the first match, 2 big men. I'm like, wait, they thought to do some old school stuff. 2 giants within 30 fucking seconds. Yeah, taking a bump. I said, shit on this. Shit on it.
Yep.
Shit on it.
Yep.
Shit on it. And they started flipping and flopping and flopping. I'm like, what in the fuck are you doing? You broke for 6 feet 12. The opening match. You're not even taking your sitting and take the time to put it. Damn, you got 2 giants. A giant will at least take the time to put over another giant. So you're right with your philosophy. Maybe you need to take the cruiser guys and do a Plesky gimmick.
Yeah,
they need to do that. That'll get over more. But still, if you try to build something. If you take guys like Cassidy, there's no fucking way I'm going to stand and work with a guy with his hands in his pockets, man. I mean, the shit's, man.
Yeah.
So why the fuck am I going out there and try to, even if I have to go out and try to, how do I protect myself without making myself look stupid working with this guy who say, hey, Hammer, go out there, we need you to go, we want him to look like this, put him over, give him 80, you take whatever. So give him a match, or fucking he's going over, so he gets to get all his stuff or whatever.
Well, a guy like that shouldn't even be in a match, Hammer. He is an entertainment feature who's a pop.
That's what they'll do.
Right.
That's what they'll do. They'll take talent. Who's saying that I was trying to explain this to Rudy Gonzalez, all right, over the messenger about how when certain guys get to certain when you're on television. The demoralizing, that seems to be entertaining first. You can't never have a serious talent on television while him having fucking comedy.
Right.
Which makes me think about this. I said, okay, why not then bring Awesome Kong back, who I met years ago in Tampa. I hadn't talked to him in a while, but we've always wanted to work together. We were going to do it in Japan, but that didn't work out. So why, if you're gonna bring some dominance, and with the whole Dark Order, well, I get that, but what else is there? You got to have a variety, man. With 18,000 people on your roster, at the end of the year, your report, you need to know what are we doing. So
yeah,
and to get booked. So you have to know, I said, okay, I'll have to say, okay, you want me to work with Orange Cassidy? Well, this is going to last about 30 fucking seconds. So, if a guy wants to come out there with his hands in his fucking pockets, he might as well take his ass up with duct tape and throw him in the fucking river. Which psychologically, kind of like what you know, if you want me to go out there and do mentally what I'm supposed to do to him, then I'm not going to, you know. So, it's meant to see if you can go out there and put that shit over, which, who comes up with the finishes? Like I say, who comes up with the finishes? And if it's real fucking men, all right, we're going to, first of all, as a professional, if you, as a professional athlete, okay, you should be able to do your, whether some say promo, some say interviews. You should be able to do that and smell like a pro, whether you're a heel or face or whatever, because that's it. It's small stuff like that you learn, okay? You learn little things like that you pick up on, especially if you're going to do an interview with a female. But since they lost the concept of man versus woman, that's why I say, okay, you take Britt Baker. You don't have to be the pretty chicken where you take her, put her in a class by her, put her in right by her fucking self. Keep her like she's a woman. Do that. Do that shit. You get the males. You do stuff right way. You get the right audience. But if you're going to keep taking all these females and some of them with mohawks and some of them with this and some of them with that, some of them with this, some of that. Okay, who can look like, who can wear dress? Who can look like a fucking woman still in the business, which is a loss. Like me now, I'm a black man, natural gimmick. A woman, natural gimmick. For a female who wants to be in here in his game, once she loses her identity as a woman that's carrying herself that way, i.e. Jordan Grace, then guess what? You're showing yourself. So, you're not going to get any sympathy if you have to step in there with, not Nyla Rose, but Austin Kong. So you'll get more sympathy working as a woman. Gail Kim and Austin Kong, I go back and still watch that shit from TNA, man. Golly. Okay? You could do that. That speaks over more so than the Nyla Rose did. So if you want to have a big manly woman in there, then have her work with Kong. Or put her ass with the fucking men.
Yeah.
Because she's not putting, here's another thing. She's Metro, but she's not putting over the woman in her, if you will.
Right.
So what she's fucking doing is dipping bitches. That's what the fuck she's doing. So that's why if I was there, I would get into it with the motherfucker. You see?
Sure.
Because she's a fucking man. So I would treat her like one. I mean, it doesn't help. No. I think maybe that's me, but does she work? I mean,
why?
Okay.
But why is that? Everybody should be working around her style, knowing that, man. That's the thing. Instead of her being blown as a monster, just like the rest of the guys are as well. None of that. It's always got to be a get your shit in 12 to 15 minute banger, and that kills it. Especially when she's got 80 pounds on everybody else. Hammer, I hate to cut you off, dude. I want to say thank you so much for calling in. I want to do more with you. Hopefully you'll come back and do more shows on Hamin Media Group, because I hope you know I got a ton of respect for you, man. As a guy, green coming into the biz in OVW, you went above and beyond to be kind to me and never really looked down. And I learned a ton from you when you were doing Ox and Hammer, tag team wise, just watching you every week from either the locker room or the stands, man. And I just want you to know I got a lot of respect for you as a man and your opinions on everything. I always like hitting you up on chat and hearing what you got to say. And I want to have an open invitation for you to come back on any of the shows here at Hamin Media Group, man.
Oh, thank you much. Thank you for saying that, man. I'm glad to meet a man like yourself as well, because we're the last of the old school, man. I think we're the last of. We seem like we're the last of the old school that will actually speak up on stuff.
Yeah, and at the cost of us not being able to dress up in dresses and a wig and go out there and wrestle, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I appreciate you, bud. And we'll talk soon. I'll get a hold of you on Messenger, and we'll have you on again soon, man. You have a great week, buddy.
Hey, you do the thing, honey. You do the thing, bro.
All right. Yo, Charles the Hammer Evans, you guys. The legend. Yeah, I'm glad I never had to wrestle that big fucker. Shit.
Well, there you go, guys. We got an awesome interview there.
You
Rick,
guys
of course,
know
know
when
when
to
to
fuck
shut
out,
the fuck
man.
up. Shut the fuck up.
I know that's a lot, but that's a guy I lay the fuck out for, because that's one of the last men that I encountered in this fucking business, dude. And believe me, if Hammer told you to get down and do 25 push-ups, you'd get down and do fucking 50 right now. That's the shit.
Most of my family is like military, so as soon as you said Joe Sargent, I was like, "Yep, I'm shutting the fuck up here."
A lot of what he
interrupting
was,
this man.
just kind of scratching the surface on there. I mean, I think had the opportunity, we could have went on for about 2 more hours just picking his brain, especially when he kind of talked about interactions with Triple H and Stephanie, and then kind of started getting into a little bit of the stereotyping of the black performers and all that. He never got it. He was always himself. I mean, he had that drill sergeant kind of.
Yeah, you can't fuck him. He's got the classic black guy voice, sound, vernacular. When he walks in the room, you're gonna turn your fucking head because his chest is 4 feet wide. And
today's product use a representative like him backstage to say, hey, look at how lost like poor Keith Lee almost seems to be right now. To have somebody step up for him and say, no, this is how you got to handle him, instead of having the whitest.
Wasn't that MVP and they cucked him out of that shit too? Like, that's what I thought we were going, was some real empowered black man stuff. Forget about BLM and whatnot. Let's just take it to the fact that guy's a fucking army drill sergeant that you don't want standing over your bunk at 2 a.m. fucking screaming at you that you're about to go on a 10-mile hike. Like, nightmare scenario of this guy. And he can do it all in the ring, athletic wise. Why isn't Bobby Lashley under that same mindset that Charles the Hammer Evans is? Why isn't a Cedric, an Apollo Crews sticking up for their own business? Why aren't Brodie Lee and Miro doing that? I don't know why or what happened around, I'll say it, the CM Punk 2012 era, where it opened the door for a bunch of soy boy cucks to go, wrestling's for everybody. See, he's a comic book nerd and not that big of a body guy, and he got over. We all can get over. And it was that time where Hammer's time of the 90s and being a big man, dude, that was all the fucking land of giants at OVW at that time, dude. And now everybody looks like they just got out of the fucking skate park and mall food court, bro. And for a guy like that to know the pressure and politics, like, you heard him. He, like, every weekend when WWE would call OVW, guys would go up on the road because they were getting them ready in dark matches. He was on the road almost more than anybody. So we all looked up to him and Justin the Ox LaRoche, who on ECW was Bam Neely, I think was his name there. They split him up. They didn't use him. They used Hammer in the Mayweather thing. And after that, he kind of got marginalized, dude. They could have been the next APA. And that would have been a great torch pass for those guys to do that. But instead, we went some weird way in the CM Punk era. And once that Pandora's box was opened, we've never been able to fucking get it back to where it should be, I think.
Well, guys, that was an amazing interview, amazing listen. Class was in session there. Hope you all took notes. I was listening intently. However, in the middle of that, I do want to inform you that the Triple D's Star Trek podcast episode 3 has now dropped on Hamin.
You got some work done, man. Good.
Yeah, I got some work done. So that's up there now. And if you want to listen to that, you're welcome to. He's got a brand new co-host, Ben. We got a brand new member of his podcast.
Who's with him?
John Enright, who's been a member of the Hamin Media Group for a couple years. He's been guest hosting on other people's, and of course, he's a minister, man of faith, but he sounded real good, so he knows how to talk. And I think that's what we've wanted to do on the Hamin Media discussion, on the second feed, is provide opportunities for people who have been longtime listeners and stuff like that. So,
absolutely.
Well, let's get into AEW. Now, I'm going to just quickly skim the late night Dynamite results, and if you want to touch on anything, we can. But there was 3 matches on the late night Dynamite. It saw Ben Carter versus Scorpio Sky, Brandy Rhodes versus Anna Jay, and Matt Sydal versus Sean Spears. Any of those matches you want to touch on before we actually get into Dynamite itself, Ben?
On Dark, is that what you asked me?
This was the late night Dynamite. It was the show that came on the day before.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck about that. Serena versus what was her name?
Killian.
Killian. Really good. And Deeb hit me up. She's like, what'd you think? I was like, I love the match. There was only 2 little things I had questions on, and it was really Serena's heat spot because they worked 50-50 baby until Deeb went in and got heat on her hand right away, and then she fed her hand wrong. So tiny things that any fan would never notice, but a wrestler's going to go, can you explain to me why you did that? And if he has a reason, I'll be like, okay. But I thought it was a great match, for a second great outing for Serena. She's looking for what she needs to do with her pose and her character. We've been talking about that kind of stuff a little bit, but I think it's her character facilitating other characters that is going to be the main thing, and her keeping her cool. So what she can do with her yoga namaste chi most of the time. So that was what I was interested in. I did watch Being the Elite for a little while. I don't know if the fuck it could, and I'm glad I did, because I told her this. It pissed me off. Like, I love to swear. I love being a Rip Rogers guy. I'm a master of swearing. You can hear in my hot takes, I say fuck way too much and they bleep it out. But the reality is, on this Being the Elite, they're all working blue, saying motherfucker and fuck you. Even did a scene with Sue, where Sue comes in to do the Dark Order thing and throw the papers at him, and it gets botched. And then even Brodie's going, what the fuck, in front of Sue, the mom. So we break the game of moms here don't swear just to get blue stuff in. There was something in the hallway with Britt Baker in the Dark Order. She starts swearing. I'm just like, my God, dude, it couldn't look and be any more amateur when you start doing that stuff. Like, this is the web show, we can swear on here. And they're trying to do a little bit of it, asshole on TNE. Oh, they said asshole in wrestling. They're edgy now. That swearing doesn't make things over. That's why people are like, oh, shows on HBO are better because they get to swear. No, they are better because the writing is of the highest quality. The swearing backs up the real emotion in the scene. It's not just getting to say, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, whatever the fuck you want, 7 words. Bullshit. If you don't have solid writing out of the fucking gate, you are screwed. Swearing is not going to back that up. Yeah, and that was Being the Elite. I was so just like, ugh.
It was a really bad episode of Being the Elite. That was probably one of the worst ones I've seen in a couple months. Rick, did you have any thoughts on the late night Dynamite before we get in? Anyone talk about?
Just want to do a shout out here. I know he was taking on 5 and 10 in a tag match from the Dark Order. He was going under the name Xander Gold, also known as Dusty Gold. Who I've known for quite a while. He's a regular over with our friends on Turnbuckle Talk. Ryan Bowman actually helped him get in for a tryout with OVW when I happened to be down there for my meeting.
I feel like I know that dude. I feel like I've worked a show with him. I didn't see him.
Spectacular, great looking kid, well put together. Wants to learn, very respectful towards everybody he's with. Tremendous look. So hey, just no matter where it's at, man, an opportunity like that is unbelievable. So congratulations to him.
Okay, well then.
Let's run this motherfucker down. We had the Hammer come in, and we don't need to spend time on a bunch of dumb bullshit. So let's go.
Okay, no problem here. Well, let me go ahead and just quickly get into the numbers as I do every week. Let's see here. So AEW ratings last week, 886,000, which was down from 1.016 million. Now
down 15%.
If you want to make the argument that they were now up against NXT, so maybe that's where the viewers went. But that being said, last night's competition was MLB, NBA Eastern Conference Finals, so Game 4 of the Celtics versus the Heat, and WWE NXT as well. Their YouTube numbers were down, though, this week. So, I mean, that's really telling, too. As last week, they had 4,682,000 total views for all their videos. This week, they had 2.3 million. The most viewed video itself was Jon Moxley getting jumped last week. That was 679,000 views. The least viewed was 175,000 from What Is She Did doing with the NWA Women's Championship, and their average of the videos was about 176,000 views. So there's your YouTube numbers. I was hoping maybe we were going to get the actual rating tonight from last night because we recorded later and it's now 12 Eastern, but they still have not come out yet. So we'll go ahead now and jump into AEW Dynamite. You guys talked about it briefly there. The tag match that opened up with Miro, Kip Sabian versus who did they fight? Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela.
Yeah, the new Midnight Express.
The new. Well, I got from the promo that they're going to go with the Express. Maybe like he was saying during that when they did that picture.
I saw on the news feed that Cornette's lawyer sent the cease and desist already.
Well, right. Well, they sent the cease and desist for the Midnight Express, so maybe that's what I was thinking. They're just going to go by the Express.
It's all trolling back and forth. I would change it change their names even to Midnight and Express just to fuck with them. You know what I mean? Like,
12 a.m. Express or something like
something. That. Yeah. Late night delivery or something.
Moonlight Express.
But yeah, this is a rib. But the fact that, like we said, you heard it with Hammer. This match was fucked. Like that's fine with Kip Sabian working back and forth with Janela and Sonny. As soon as Miro comes in, that's all she wrote, bro. Big fucking whoop wop clothesline, feet up, boom, you're fucked off. Throw him in there, let him tag. Partner comes in, give him the sky high, boom, one and done, and he's fucking out. One press pin, 1, 2, 3, looking in the camera, up strong. That's as fast as that finish should have come at 4.5 minute mark. They pulled 12 to 13 here, had 3 or 4 mega botches. Miro rolls his ankle on a mid-rope shit can to the outside, and the whole match is laughable. 2 weeks in a row, we've not gotten any business done for Miro whatsoever.
Before you jump in, Rick, Ben, do you think that, unfortunately, it really does look like Tony Khan listened to the fans, right? And went back to making the wrestling matches longer again?
100% he did. 100%. When he had the roadmap at $1 million, which was shorter matches, more character and story development. Instead, we've gone right 180 opposite because that's what they wanted in the scrum job, the post-show scrummer, and fucking boom, how'd that fucking work out the last week? I expect that last night's show will be lower rated than last week's show, so they'll have lost 14%. I bet they lose 17% from the $1 million at this point.
Rick, your thoughts on this? What do you think of this match?
Well, I think real quick on the numbers, just something I was really thinking about before we went on the air here. Is they continue to brag. Hey, we've got above that $1 million mark, but they do nothing to steadily maintain that position, and they are not growing it. So they just happen to catch a good night where people were just flipping around and stayed tuned in for something there. They just continue to just cater to that same niche audience. They don't see that bigger picture where they need to grow their brand and their product. This match inside of itself, coming out of the gate, when I saw Miro, initially when he hit that stage, I thought, you know what, maybe they're going to correct the ship from how they presented him in that debut, where it was, woe me, I was misused, I was mistreated, feel sorry for me. He looked fantastic. I mean, you look at that upper body on him, those traps, everything there. I mean, that is someone
He slimmed out.
He's gassing the fucking gills. Of course he fucking looks awesome, bro.
Looks amazing. I know, but then immediately,
you look awesome, and then you can't beat Joey Janela in the half queer.
And that's where they lost me.
Yeah, you're screwed right there.
I thought he was going to come in as Hammer and Ben were talking about, immediately get a tag to him, come in, maybe 2 kicks, 1 to each, accolade, it is over. It's a crushing defeat, and they're out of there.
Yeah, I would agree. I lost all interest or the reality when Joey Janela pulled the rope down and Rusev, or he falls out of the ring and rolls his ankle. Right then and there, I was like, "What the fuck, dude? Why are you trying to take this big man out? Why is this?" It was just very confusing. Like, why are you going to try make such a shitty sloppy move right there?
He should have left the ring. As soon as he has the crown, he's the king. The fact that he took himself out made him look instantly stupid and as average as every other mid-card wrestler. When that tag came, it should have been scorched earth. The final visual is him, neck fucking veins, traps fucking crazy, screaming into the camera. Da-da-da-da-da. That's it.
And just a cosmetic thing, he's got to go back to that jet black. Letting Lana dye his hair for their YouTube channel was an absolute mistake.
Can't now.
No, Cody's got it.
Yep. Can't have it now. Well, that was that match. So we moved on from that to a really good promo. Kingston, he comes out now for those. This was announced on Twitter because Lance Archer had to be taken out of the match. So they replaced it with another championship match. Mox is going to be defending the title against Kingston. So Kingston comes out. I like the promo. He starts out by saying, hey, for those of you who don't use social media, let me catch you up. Tonight, I'm going to be taking on Mox. And then he runs down Mox, kind of going over a little bit of their history. We used to roll together, but then you went off to the land of entertainers while I stayed on the streets with the real man and the real outlaws and the real warriors. Basically calls him a little bitch. You went off and became a princely little bitch, and I stayed tough, and I'm still a man. Well, this got Mox, so Mox comes out. I think they should have done this before the tag match, in my opinion, because if they're going to lead into the main, I thought it would have been better to have started off hot like this, and then that way you have an idea. Oh, the main event tonight! I can't wait. Maybe you can call your friends and blah blah blah. But it was okay. It took place right after the tag team, and I know that's kind of AEW's format. They like to start off with the match, but he delivered a really good promo here. Referees come out, break it up, and then sets up for the main event here. RBV Fitness. What did you think of this?
Yeah, I'm with you, MSG. I would like to see this thing open. I do like how they went to, they tried to explain this thing so that they just didn't assume that everybody lives inside this bubble here. One of the things in the promo that immediately got me, and AEW is so guilty of this, is we're talking about that niche audience, is he's calling out the hard camera. Stop that terminology. JR did it also in this thing where he was referencing dirt sheets. We don't need those. Talk to a larger audience that has no idea about that kind of stuff. You want to hook them in. I love the fire here, but with this opening thing, it should have opened. It gets you hooked in case people had already tuned out because they've seen this guy that they recognize in Rusev now in there flip-flopping around with the Jelly Donut Express or whatever the hell it is. But I would have liked to see more throughout the show building these two. Maybe some more vignettes or, hell, AEW got all the money in the world, right? Go out and get me some footage of these two wrestling somewhere, or what they have done, or something that continues to build that fire under Moxley, which we continue to miss.
Before I do want to disagree with you on something there, Rick. For this particular promo, I liked the Kingston called the hard camera because it felt emotional and real. But I do agree with the statement that I don't think everybody needs to be calling out cameras and stuff like that.
I think it could have been, hey, you right there, main camera guy, you focus here. So you just didn't like the terminology, you didn't like the jargon of hard cam. Is what you didn't like. I just say make it more broad. Instead of like when JR said dirt sheet, say tabloid, or your JR, say the Inquirer because it's an older thing or something like that.
But who's that for though, Rick? Because only the diehards are watching. So you've got all the dirt, you've got all the marks that understand these terms anyway, right?
They have to get out of their own mindset to stop creative or targeting that niche audience. They got to get out of their own way before they can grow their own, grow the product.
Dark Retribution. Did Mox and Kingston ever battle at 2CW?
No, Mox was in early on before I got there, and I don't think Kingston ever was during my time. I worked 2 shows, maybe 3 with Kingston at UPW after 2CW closed in Rochester. He cut a hell of a promo there too, and a great guy in the locker room, easy to get along with, one of the boys. And I know, obviously, Battle the Bulge, he's working hard. That was one of the funny things, actually, on Being the Elite, where they were doing promo class.
That
set it up, and he was talking about, what was it?
Cookie?
And how they'll be together soon, but right now he's got to focus because he knows that'll keep it, and then he can earn more money to get more cookies, and then they can it was a good little promo about for a fat guy because there's nothing fat guys love more than food, and that's easy to be passionate about, and be passionate about, and that's all it takes is to show, hey, how do I attach an emotion to an object or a scene? Everything relies on emotion, guys, and that's why Kingston sticks out. Sure, it's the New York accent, the passion, the ability to turn up the fire. He's got all those as weapons in his arsenal. But it's really the connection of a man who's got to go on a diet to talking to a cookie, that are true things he's saying in there. And once you say a truth about yourself, the audience sees it and they know it's undeniable. They're with you. And he knows how to do that better than anybody else on their roster right now. The Young Bucks can do it too. I hope he shows them. I hope those promo classes inspire other people to say, how do I take what he's doing and apply it on my stuff? And they will raise their own acumen because he is really great at that stuff. His CZW back and forth with the chops or whatever, and there's plenty of things fundamentally we could pick apart for both of them. But these are just 2 hardcore fucking badass dudes who wanted to get in the ring and beat the shit out of each other, and I'm all for that.
All right, well, next matchup, we had Adam Hangman Page taking on Evil Uno. Once again, Kenny Omega out on commentary. This match went 2 segments as they had a commercial break in the middle of it.
Why is it going 2 segments? Hangman should be able to beat one of the minions, even if he's player uno, and I like fucking Super Smash Brothers. I'm not nothing against them. Those guys have worked a lot of shows with it too, CW, and respect for them. But this is the third match where we're fucking way too long on the guy who's over that we want to see go over clean, strong, and fast to believe in him are getting eaten up by guys who have no business. They're not on the same tier. These are all feeder guys to get those guys over. The longer the match goes, the more exposed the baby face is that you're trying to get over because he can't put away a fucking scrub. What was it? Somebody said, I think in the chat that it took Murder Hawk 4 minutes? No, it took Brodie 4 minutes tops from bell to bell to put away Cody, and it took him 15 minutes to put away Orange Cassidy. What the fuck are we doing? Like right there, like before we even ring the bell, Brodie should go, dude. He should look at the sheet and go, I'll do it, Briz, but I beat Cody in 4 minutes for the title. Is Orange Cassidy better in the ring than Cody in your mind? And then Khan would have to go, I like him, so yeah, just go pull the time and da-da-da. Or Khan would have an epiphany and go, you know what, Brodie's right. He needs to go over strong. Instead of what they were doing, and we'll get to this match, where the sell for fucking Orange Cassidy is just to sit down to his ass. Like, I had a match like this with
dude, when he had him, I know we're skipping ahead, but when he had him stacked up in that pin, oh my God, it looked so awkward. I was like, why is a cruiserweight stacking a big man like this in a pinfall like that?
Yeah, and even the fact of that's going on. I had a match with a guy like Isis Effects, 2CW originals, trained a fair amount of guys and can go. Loves that Japanese style, but I think it's phony, like slapping, whatever the fuck. And he does like this ironically funny like thing where he'll wear dragon wings and a steampunk hat to the ring and things like that, right? Like the perfectly fitting into the AEW. He was AEW before AEW was even a thing. Like he was doing that shit. But I didn't know if he didn't want to work me or whatever it was. We were in Utica, and he comes out like he's tired and whatnot, and I'm in the ring, ready to square off. He goes over in the corner and lays down and pretends to take a nap. I looked over at Strangler. I go, what the fuck is this guy? We didn't go over any of this. Going into business for himself. And like I said, I don't have a problem with ISIS now, except for that always popped me too. I'm the terrorist and his name is ISIS and he's a white guy doing Puff the Magic Dragon. Those type of things as a performer really irk me. Like I consider that to be one of my worst matches of all time before the bell even rang. We had no heat. He buried all my heat. He killed me right there. So where are we supposed to go if he's going to go over on me? Or if I beat him, I just beat a guy who's tired who wants to take a nap in the corner of the ring. That's how seriously he's taken me as a bad guy. Where the fuck are and Cassidy? My point is Cassidy sitting down on the cell. That's exact same fucking shit to me, bro. That's an insult to Brodie, in my opinion.
Mr. Vickery, to wrap up this Hangman Page conversation with the Uno, what did you think about the match as Hangman Page got the victory with the buckshot lariat?
I just want to quickly point out, remember 4 to 6 weeks ago how Hangman Page was one of the hottest things in professional wrestling? People were gravitating towards, the drunken cowboy.
I wouldn't say 4 to 6 weeks. I'd say maybe a couple months ago.
Okay, too much maybe. Cowboy shit was getting over. It was hot. Look how much that they have derailed this and how much it has cooled off because they continue to drag their feet when they find a direction.
And to combine that too, you're not wrong on that because they tried to do the Bucks broken mirror thing with him, throwing the liquor in his face. The liquor thing doesn't work, and now we're off to that. So what? He just quit drinking all of a sudden? He's sober? Like we didn't get any backstory. Maybe they did that on Dark too and swore about it. But
believe me, it's not that easy.
Well, what was the finish on this match?
Buckshot lariat.
What was the finish on the next match?
I forget. TNT Championship was
Brodie Lee.
Brodie Lee. Oh, lariat. It was back-to-back lariats.
What did Miro come in and kill everybody with when he fucking tagged in the first match?
Well, he tried to do a lariat, right?
He hit one. So here we have 3 fucking matches, 3 lariat, wrong. Booking 101. This is where the guy doesn't know. This is where he needs a big brother. Like you just don't do that shit, man. Because now the psychology on your audiences, we've seen it already. 3 matches, like, and is that the move of the night? Everybody screams like it's Pee-wee's Playhouse when you fucking see a lariat, like
Trigger,
yeah, dude.
Sling Blade.
This is basic booking 101 that is not getting done. And to have Arn, Tully backstage and not pull him aside into a closet and really squeeze his arm really tight while you're talking to him, so he knows it, like a mom at the fucking store, right? When she's got to discipline her child, you get that fucking message across with a little extra pain. Aside from that, nothing's going to change. 3 lariats, and not one of them meant nothing.
Hey, Rick, Sunpunk82 in the chat room wanted Ben to go on the media call and ask questions, but he's too good for that. So I'm thinking you, or maybe we get Willie Malacia. We can get on a media call and ask Tony Khan a question. Maybe you can ask him
absolutely.
See if you can ruffle some feathers, dude.
Absolutely.
I don't want to ruffle feathers.
Ruffle feathers, but I'm like a professional.
I want to do good business. You know what I mean?
Don't ask the Mark questions, is what I'm saying. That's going to ruffle feathers by asking a journalistic question, is what I meant by that. If you ask a legit,
I get you.
I mean, we could come from so many different angles there. If it's from the minds of the great pros that we have here in the Hamin Media Group, or of us that work in other areas. If it's marketing events, I mean, believe me, you can sit and pick his brain all day just to try to get down to what is actually, and to steal from Man Beast, what makes him tick. Where is his sound grounding that this is the right direction that his company should be heading in.
All right. Well, let's move on here. After that, we had Tony Shivani outside the Young Bucks locker room, where he played off like he was flinching when they opened the door, and Matt was like, "Oh, I'm not going to hurt you. I like you, Tony." He said, of course, last week he was out of line by super kicking Alex Marvez, but people should sympathize with him and them, the Young Bucks, as they've lost a lot. They were determined to do better, though. And then Tony says, FTR are the cause of all this, and if they're the tag team champions, so how did that feel? Matt gets upset at Tony. He's pretty pissed, grabs his phone, smashes his phone, and then he ends it. And this popped me. I liked that it ended like this. He just goes, you know what? Go buy yourself another phone. He just throws money on him. I like if that's what they're going to be, arrogant money marks, or money guys, because they have the money. So I thought it was good. I liked it.
I think Matt Jackson has a lot of people have downed the Bucks. Every time I see Matt, I see the money written on him. There's just something about him that comes through the camera more than Nick. But then Nick does the thing in the match that goes, holy fuck, Nick is awesome, bro. Not that Matt doesn't, but when it comes to that where it is, they know that Matt is just naturally more charismatic, and that's just how it is. And he shines here. The smashing of Shivani's phone is funny enough for me. And then I like, this is a gift. There are no mistakes in an improv scene. The best thing is he tries to pull the money out, put it in his pocket. What's he say?
Fake pocket. Oh, it's a fake pocket.
Oh, that's a fake pocket. So he exposes.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Or I don't think that was planned. And then he just throws it down, trying to do something, it blowing up in your face, saying yes to it, giving it back in your character, and even another way, made that scene even more magical and believable. And I just want to see Matt end scenes now with him throwing money on people. It's comical.
What he did
last week with Khan when he came back. Super kicked the ref. He just threw a fucking $5,000 into his. Yeah, that's all good stuff, and it's probably all that fake Young Bucks money anyway.
Yeah,
in the ceiling. So I do. Do you want to know that's a rib I do in the fucking locker room? Did I ever tell you about this? So I got a bunch of $100 bills, like I don't know, $10,000 worth, but they're all counterfeit with like a Chinese stamp on the one side, right? So I'll fold it in half and I'll fold it again, maybe even a third time. So it's really small. So you can just see the 100. And then I'll fucking in the locker room, like a half hour into like when everybody's in there, I'll just drop it on the floor, like maybe 20 feet from my bag or whatever. Then I'll go back and sit down and just see, and you'll see a couple people. It's a shitty thing to do, but I like it as an old veteran rib who's going to do it and step on it and like try and kayfabe it. They just found $100 in the locker room. So they're going, hey, did anybody lose $100? Then they fucking go across the room and they fucking unfold or put it in there. And then they fucking see it and they see them pop a little bit. And they're like, they know they're fucking caught. And I'll just be looking down like they're trying not to. It's just for my own entertainment. So if you find $100 in the locker room, it's got Chinese stamp on it, you just got ripped by.
Basically, I was just going to say, if you're around Ben Hamin, you find $100 on the ground, check it before getting excited. Be like,
what a hope spot, only to get kicked in the nuts, dude. I love it.
Rick, did you have any thoughts on this on Matt Jackson? I know we were talking in a discussion group. What did you? I mean, do you like this character as far as what they're doing with Matt?
What I kind of like with it, I kind of like the attitude. Whatever they get more serious, I've become more of a Young Bucks fan because it reminds me of their work in Japan, which is completely different than what you usually see here in the West. And I'm pretty sure that over at 2CW, you guys used to book them more in that Japanese style where they were serious.
You're talking about who? I'm sorry,
the Bucks.
Oh yeah, the Bucks were cool because of 2CW and New Japan going back and forth of getting over that. And even then, we would also book them in the soy boy kind of way when they first came out. Do you know what their fucking entrance music was?
I'm gonna guess what's some Backstreet or something like that.
Pretty close. Bop.
I was gonna say Hanson probably. Yeah. Because Nick kind of looks like he's a member of the Hanson crew.
Right. They would get it over, man. They would get over with it. It was the ironic of everybody else is coming out. Know your enemy. I'm like, okay. And then they're going over and getting their shit in on you. So it's a double fucking rib. So I like that kind of stuff, man. It pops me. But we used them as like the irreverent, cool, ironic thing, and then we would also book them SCU, the Dudley Boy, all that kind of shit, dream booking,
And I like them throwing the money because it seems very symbolic to me of kind of what people say about AEW. Hey, they just throw money at it.
Throw money away. That could be it too.
They're billionaires. They just throw money at it. They don't give a shit.
You guys were talking about something. Might have been the last Friday Locker Room, or it could have been a Master Shoot Theater. What is it? AEW Dynamite. They've got a budget of $100 million set over the next 5 years.
That was Russo's brand.
Okay. So they've only spent maybe 15, 16. So they still have $4 million technically that's within their budget, but they've planned ahead, as you mentioned. Eric Bischoff saying to him, or that's what your thought was. You think Bischoff got in his ear and said, "Hey, brother, you're going to lose money, and this is how we have to do it." So I agree. The symbology of them throwing money around. I like the little underneath cut there, Rick. I agree. Well, next up, we saw you guys kind of discussed it already. Brodie Lee versus Orange Cassidy. At least the vets did. The Hammer and Ben, they talked about it. But the winner of this match was Brodie Lee. What did you think of this match itself, Rick?
Yeah, again, it's why are we having this extended time inside of a match? I guess you can't break it down any better than Ben and Hammer there, but
right.
I guess maybe to be the other side of that coin, devil's advocate, could Jericho have had anything to play into this thing? Because hey, Orange just beat him in a marquee match, so yeah, they could make an argument. Yeah, he could go out there and hang with this mid card champ. I'm just trying to make sense of it. I don't agree with it at all. I'm just trying to go through the conversation that they might have had there.
It kills me week to week. Where did we see Orange Cassidy last week?
I don't even remember.
Saw him for 1 second in one spot.
In the car, right? When he popped out.
Right? I've been saying this on this show. He should be and open the closet. There he is, just hanging out in the closet. Oh, you open the refrigerator, he's in there and hands you a fucking soda out, whatever it is. The whole thing is a Where's Waldo of Orange Cassidy. That will get him over in 15 seconds more than fucking any match ever will. More than any orange fucking thing or jean jacket or fucking hands in the pocket spot. The only time he should wrestle is in a payoff match or do something where the best friends are in a payoff, which is exactly what he did last week. And his appearance was fucking the highlight of that match to come out of it because we were in hardcore, and then out of nowhere, boop, finish. All right. Now, this week, we decide to not use him for 15 seconds. We use him for 15 minutes against the biggest fucking guy on our roster. And how now the biggest guy on our roster can't put this guy away in under 60 seconds? We're screwed. We did no business for anybody there, and it didn't get anybody over. And then it's all about Cody coming back, is dark-haired Cody, to kick the shit out of guys we know are rotten. We've seen Dark Order throw the worst punches ever. and that have been recorded on wrestling. So why do we care that Cody is kicking the shit out of him? We're not like, yeah. The reality is we want him to get on Brodie. We need that face-off where Cody's got the high ground, Brodie's down low with the Dark Order around him, and Brodie throws a guy in there to Cody, and then Cody stomps the shit out of him. You know what I mean?
And he's got more pyro than basically the entirety of the WrestleMania set this year, right?
Might as well at this point, right? So, and then backstage, Brodie cuts a huge shoot promo where he stooges off what's really going on. And that was good, but it also hurts his character. He talks about Brandy posting Chief Bikini Officer pictures and tagging him, and how he's saying things like thirst trap, and he's putting over WWE in the brass ring and all that kind of shit deteriorates from the Dark Order. It makes you less David Miscavige. It makes you less Jim Jones. And it also makes you look more humanized outside of what's going on, just to get some bang bang shoot in on Cody, which may be real from the office, from what I've heard, where a lot of people aren't on Team Cody and Brandy anymore, like they appeared to be a year ago at this time. So maybe that promo was in there as a fuck you, but is it smart to do that to undermine everything else we've been building up going on to do? I don't know, man. A lot of bad choices just in the first hour of this show.
Ben, when you're talking about, the less is more there, and you want a dominant performance there from Brodie Lee, thinking back to the match itself, I mean, this would have worked. You had that moment for Orange when he put the sunglasses on Anna Jay. You had that moment. He should have turned around and his head should have got taken off.
That's it right there. That's one.
And you got all that heat on Brodie because you got all the Orange, fanatics go, how could they do this? I mean, how could you got all that heat, and then you got that sympathy right there, and he had that cool moment with Anna Jay and the glasses.
The match should have been a get over for he gets over with the glasses to be like a F you or whatever, right? Turn around, one and done. Believable. 1, 2, 3. Then from there, Dark Order's posing, whatever. Cody comes fucking in from behind, drills dudes with the chair from Dark Order from behind, and even gets one on fucking Brodie right there. They're all powdering out, scattering. He's got to get his hands on one as they fucking flee. He runs to the back, chasing, trying to get his hands on Brodie while Dark Order's whatever. Then you march out the best friends. They fucking come out. Cassidy's still laying there. Randy lay there like a slug. He dare not move, right? And fucking they grab him by the arms and they drag him to the back while he's knocked out. You're putting over the fucking lariat, the fact that he is lazy possibly, or he's actually knocked out, and the friends will come scrape him off the mat in a comedy spot at the end. Everybody could have got over. Only Cody got over.
Or could he? I don't know why this is funny, but I was just thinking, you have the best friends come out and like medical staff, hop. They come out there, they put the glasses on the stretcher, and then that's what they do. They go back to the back. This little orange cat.
Why not do that? Something along those lines, bro. You know what I mean? And they didn't even stop. But I mean, that would lower the scene of what we just watched.
Right, I know.
But anything like that, that's what you're thinking about, is playing within the comedy game, and that's a good place to be. Might not have fit this scene, but that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, right. Doesn't mean no. It just means no, not right now.
Not right now. Fits in better someplace else.
Well, this was a weird promo interaction we had after this. Matt Hardy comes out limping alongside Private Party. Hardy says last week someone attacked him, looking for who did it. Obviously, everyone thinks it's someone in the inner circle, if you will. They believe Jericho is the suspect. Hardy says the only reason why Private Party didn't beat Jericho and Hager is because Jericho used said bat. Then Jericho comes out.
So bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get through it. So Jericho then comes out. He cuts his promo, reintroduces Sammy Guevara after saying they don't know when he's coming back. Guess what? He's coming back. He's right here. So he comes out. Jericho then says there are only 4 of them because Matt apparently injured, blah, 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 blah. And then Private Party all argue about who gets to talk to Chris Jericho. And then eventually Quinn challenges Jericho. This was long. I started watching a training video on cybersecurity for my job. What did you think about this, Rick?
Watch it through the scene. Earlier we're talking about, and not to take away from that in any way, the brilliance of Chris Jericho. But as I'm watching this thing, it is one of those people that seems like
gotta interrupt. Did you like how we put over Jericho and then Hammer's like, fuck that motherfucker, man? That pops the shit out of me.
What do you do? Walk around? I don't listen to some of their fruity little boots.
Fucking ass, man. Who the fuck are you?
Fruity little boots.
I love that shit. Go ahead. Sorry.
The one thing I got from this thing is hopefully, as we see everything, how Jericho's presenting himself, if it's that he's, he is on social media taking shots at WWE, that he does pull the curtain back so far on the podcast, that he seems to be one of those, that Ben was talking about earlier about if you're going to, curse in a certain way, you got to have a point behind it. You're driving home a bigger feeling to it, where Jericho's just trying to rile people up because I can drop who gives a shit or damn or whatever it is. I'm waiting for that next evolution of Chris Jericho where he realizes, or they start calling him out, that he's just in a midlife crisis. That's what
I think they should have taped his Botox thing. I think all that shit should be in there, like the Hollywood Jericho. Like, why fave it? If people are going to talk about it, get the mileage out of it. You're not going to be able to pull the wool over their eyes.
And as I'm watching this segment, I'm thinking, like, I can't wait till the time where maybe Sammy tries to grab the reins from the inner circle. But then they, in a follow-up segment, we get MJF. So, I mean, you could go either direction with some of these younger people saying, hey, you know what, Grandpa, 30 years in the business. Yeah, what is he here? He's 49 years old. He's almost 50. Hey, AEW is not about you, old man, anymore. You've been in a midlife crisis since this thing started. Get the hell out of here.
Where he tries to do all young things and all that kind of shit to prove it instead of just becoming the veteran that he should be. I like that idea. I like that a lot.
Sorry, I was just thinking about what came next, and that made me think about this. So
sorry, I gotta rip this apart though, because mad love for Matt Hardy. Obviously, Chris Jericho. We talked. I can't put any heat on these private party kids. They're so young and green. But this was a predicated plot promo from Matt Hardy, just brutal, as we're recounting a scene from last week that sucked the first time. Now tell me about the scene in great detail for even longer than it took to do the scene the first time. Dude, even more brutal. Then Jericho comes out to get his stuff in, and then we got to pass the mic to the kids because they got to do a promo that's going to fall flat on its face, because how the fuck are two green kids going to out-promo Matt Hardy and Y2J? How are they going to come over the top? They're not. Everything is set up for failure in this plotty, predicated fucking thing. We need show, don't tell. This was tell from all three of them. Not one fucking moment of show. And it was bad. And all of these guys are way better performers than this. I don't know about the kids, but those two dudes should have been like, nah, man, we got it. There's a way better way to get more out of this than what this is.
Yeah, and I'm not going to crap on the private party. As you mentioned, they are greener. I would hope that maybe they go back and review their promo delivery. It came off kind of like they were in a theater. Like, here I am, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. It was very theater-like performance versus an emotional, a regular conversation.
Did you guys feel at all that maybe in how they presented them and the points behind their message, that there was a purpose to say, hey, these are not the Street Profits?
I don't know. I feel like they are the Street Profits, to be honest with you.
There's been that comparison since we've come to know.
You got young black athletic kids, who do very similar offense, who want to talk street cool, fucking Migos level shit. That's now in modern. You got to go with it. It's not like you can't be like, oh, well, there's only those black guys and not these ones. The fact though that somebody in the back went, house party, Hardy party. That's the way we're going now. Hardy party, everybody. Matt Hardy, he always relates to those young black high flying men, dude. Like the fact that they wouldn't put a Scorpio Sky, a cool black guy in there who can shuck and jive with them, a manager, bring in a fucking real rapper. You know what I mean? They had Mike Eagle and Shiloh in OVW do a fucking huge feud that way. Give me an underground rapper who loves wrestling. Method Man has got his own fucking weightlifting thing. He looks incredible. He's going to be in 2 new movies, and he loves wrestling. Method Man with those guys, they're fucking instantly over. You think Meth can't cut the fucking promo?
Well,
They're like it's unbelievable how much they can miss on wrestling is demographic, stereotypical, racial. It's all of these things that echo in our society. But, you always see the fucking white guy with red hair mentoring the fucking young black guy.
It's interesting. They could also, I mean, if you want to even just stay inside the bubble, they could have gotten Wale, right? He's a rapper and he's synonymous with throwing these big wrestling parties with Court Bauer and all that every year.
100%, bro.
So, I mean, that could have been something they should have.
Does Method Man himself, I mean, he had that television show on TBS, Drop the Mic. I mean, do they still have the ties there? Is they still airing those? I mean, the TNT.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
It's a sister station.
Cody's going to be appearing.
Here's the problem. If you brought Meth out next to those two guys right now, you think they look small already? Go check out Method Man's Instagram. He's fucking working out 4 hours a day for all this Marvel shit, and he's more jacked than 90% of the fucking AEW roster right now. So yeah, it would be funny to see that with him, and he's 52, I think. So yeah, man, this was all wrong from the jump on this.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Well, and then this next segment, while I'm not saying it was bad, I didn't like some of the dialogue that we heard. So Tony Schiavone interviews FTR and Tully Blanchard, and Tully thanks the fans and says he wants to change the rules. He's made a 20-minute time limit. We're going to get more than a 20-minute time limit match next week, or we're going to get a 20-minute time limit match next week between SCU and FTR, because if FCU can't beat them within 20 minutes, then FTR automatically wins.
Hold on, time out. Not just because I'm a Wu-Tang fan. Some punk, I got to fucking smash you hard here. I don't think Method Man would get any new views. Do you realize that Wu-Tang Clan is a fucking worldwide brand and that he's considered the top 10 MCs in the history of the planet? And it doesn't matter if he's in UK, Australia, Japan, or whatever. If you were to say Wu-Tang Clan is going to be on the fucking pay-per-view because Method Man's been on the last 5 fucking shows, and they might even do the pre-show, you would be over 3 million viewers in a fucking second. So that, I appreciate you as a Hamin Media Group member. That could be the fucking dumbest thing I've seen in a chat in a long time.
Well, after that, Best Friends come out and Trent, and they say what they did was war last week, and they might be banged up, but they'll have a 20-minute war tonight again. FTR agrees, but before it can start, Cash says they can't do this. They're fighting champions, and it's obviously Best Friends aren't 100% tonight. Chuck Taylor calls the FTR weenies, and then he hugs Trent. And I guess they're going to fight SCU next week. Rick, what'd you think?
I'm with you on this, MSG. I thought they just started talking in circles for a bit of time here. Just get to the point. Let us know. Now, when they got to that point, I kind of like that. And it goes back to something that Ben and Beast talked about a couple weeks in the Monday locker room, is that when you're just going out there and wrestling 30, 45, 60 minutes just because you can, it's lost all meaning. But that has become something that the AEW, that niche fan base they want. They just want you to go out there and do that floor routine for 30 plus 45 minutes just so you can say you did it and you hit all your spots and all the wows. It's not about your character. It's not about a storyline. It's just about the floor routine. I kind of like that this is, them saying, you know what, we're not doing that anymore. You're going to get 20 minutes out of us tops, and we're out of here. You don't beat us in that 20 minutes, get to the back of the line.
Dude, but that's the thing they said, and this also killed me. How is Tully Blanchard cutting a shitty promo?
Right?
Like a promo that makes no sense, and that even the dude has to come in from FTR to like save it and be like, I don't even remember what the fucking little thing he coined it, and then to put over, and if they don't beat us in 20 minutes, then we get the win.
Was it like a rub with greatness or a brush with greatness or something?
Yeah,
like that?
brush my balls or whatever the fuck it was, dude. It was so bad. And I'm like, you've got Tully Blanchard and he doesn't know his promo. Like, what universe am I fucking living in right now? And this is after 5 sets. This is the 5th segment where I'm going, wow, dude, that was the wrong choice. And I just, don't want to keep beating them up. But here's even the guys who should be able to throw the ball up in the air and fucking hit a home run, no problem every time, just based on pulling some shit that he did back in '86 and doing it now, right? That same promo. Instead, he's lost and it has no stakes. And now I'm thinking to myself, oh, they're going to go 20 minutes. You know why? Because 2 weeks ago they went 40 minutes and everyone was like, what the fuck on the pay-per-view? They're like, this is dog shit, dude. And why are you going this long? And if you're the champs, no team should be able to go 40 minutes with you unless they're at the top tier. So you're not strong. You're not over. You're not the best of everything because it took you that long to beat somebody. If I go out and beat somebody in 8 minutes, the perception is that I'm bad as shit. 40 minutes exposes that you're not that tough. So now the fact is they're going to go 20 minutes. Oh, sweet. I get to sit through a 20-minute match where there's then no winner. They're stooging off that their future matches are going to have no finishes.
Right.
They're going to be time limit draw.
Spectrum's acting up right now.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 check. Y'all, anything good? Like that's going to stooge off that they have to sit through a 20-minute time limit. That's not going to give you any psychological closure of a 1 2 3 because we're just going to go, they won. There isn't a rematch. It's not like it went 20-minute time limit, 5 more minutes. You're not going to get that. The heels are just going to get a win, and you're going to get kicked back down the fucking ladder if you go time limit draw with us. Their idea is we'll do all these time limit draws until somebody finally beats the Revival, and then it'll mean something, won't it, guys? Yeah.
One of the things that got me as well was they go ahead and announce you're going to have these tag team championship bouts for 20 minutes. We get to the main event. You look at the clock. There's only 15 minutes of the show left.
Well, what was good is that the best friends came out and really saved this scene.
Well, they showed how weenies should hug.
Well, Ben, you're kind of a weenie yourself, so you know.
Well,
I'm a fucking foot long, that's for sure, bro. Right now, and you ain't gonna talk
a Hamini weenie.
Dude, Chuck Taylor reminds me now of what is it? Ron Burgundy's the guy in Anchorman. He's like, "You're a poop head, Mr. Burgundy. You're a poop head. You got a poop mouth." That's him to me now.
After coming, what did they do last week?
After having an amazing, the best ever street fight ever,
string 2 fucking things together, and who got the most over?
Sue.
By doing this, did we see Sue this week?
Nope.
Did we pick that up? Did Sue drop them off in the minivan from where we saw him? We want that game, and instead we got none of it. It's unreal.
The next up was a tag match between the women's division here as Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa took on Diamante and Ivelisse. Winner of this match was Shida and Thunder Rosa. Any thoughts, Rick, on this match? I mean, I know you're probably more familiar with these women than I am.
Yeah, I mean, just the regular things here, you know, and maybe I know I've been talked about this where it kind of irritates me a little bit. A little over use of the knee shot instead of the punch. But to me, I don't know, and it is more of a Japanese thing that they use those regularly there, especially in their women's wrestling. But to me, that's much better than a punch. You know,
yeah, you're really frozen right now, Ben. You might want to jump off and jump back in. Yeah, you're just.
So I've mentioned to some females that, and I don't want to say just females for this because I've said to a couple, I'm like, stop throwing punches. It looks terrible. This pretty much goes for anyone that doesn't weigh over 165 pounds inside of a match. Stop throwing punches. They just look terrible. But I don't know. I didn't like the end of this thing. Didn't you just have, I mean, sure, you have the champs together, the NWA and the AEW champ, but then they just go over here on the ladies that just won this women's tag tournament that you were boasting about.
Well, they didn't really boast about it. They didn't really.
Well, they tried to for a little bit, and then they realized it wasn't going to really get Brandy more over with anything else. They just kind of pushed it to the back burner. But
Ben, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, dude, like Hammer was saying, this was just a complete cluster F with a lot of botches again. And it exposes Thunder Rosa. She does have some good stuff, but if she's not in there with a seasoned professional like a Serena Deeb to bring it out of her, and it's just some spot fest, get your shit in stuff where they were no selling. There was one thing in there early on I was just like sickened by, so I don't even remember what it was. It was so ridiculous and so phony. Really, it's got to be Serena versus each one of these girls one-on-one for them to even really start to get it of where they need to go. This shimmer shine stuff is absolutely brutal to watch. Go ahead.
Ben, I just want to ask you a question because you know this year. Like Serena, she's in that area, right? And you were talking about that Florida click and all that. One of the reasons the women's wrestling in NXT so good is because they go through these matches all week. Are they doing that in AEW? Or are they just going out there and trying?
They only work one day a week.
I didn't know if like during those off days they said, "Hey, everyone get together." You know this. I mean, if you got that one day,
you didn't know that everybody's elite. They don't need to train. They don't need to take. They are the elite performers of wrestling. Everybody there is at the top of their game. There's no place to improve or anything along those lines. Elite.
They're elite. Yeah.
Like, so that's your short answer, because otherwise you would see it and you wouldn't see these mistakes week after week after week after week. People, Sean Spears switching characters 5 times in 1 year. Brandy switching character 4 times in 1 year and then off TV and getting rid of their social medias and all. Like, you wouldn't see that, bro. If they were really into it and got it and had an OVW system and all right, dudes, let's go back and watch this. And Luchasaurus, you're so athletic, bro, but we need you to work this way instead of the other way that you are doing that. And there's no agents that are reeling them in or anything along those lines to run these matches to put. There should be agents there who put together matches that tell those guys exactly how they need to work so they get it, because putting their matches together that they have nobody out of it.
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad right now. We're not catching any of this. Spectrum's acting up. It's because we're going 2 hours. It's like we're reaching that timeline. Yep, you're good there.
My bad.
Yep.
Is the fact that agents should be fucking putting together their matches for them to show them this is how you shine. We get heat on fucking Jungle Boy. You get the comeback, do all your kicks, and we win right there. Instead of going another 20 minutes afterwards. But nobody is sitting down and doing that and putting together matches, because these guys, as good as they are, and girls, they don't know how to get themselves over. They don't know. Brian Cage doesn't know that he needs to do a gorilla press and one other move and beat a guy in Goldberg 60 seconds. Instead, we're going way too long all the time, doing dives and all this dumb shit that is not what is going to make him a legend. And nobody is there stopping them. That's the biggest thing. So do we need to have matches put together for some of these guys? I guess so. But will they listen? And if they don't, is anybody going to have the balls to take them off TV for not listening? If Al Snow told you to do something and you're finished and you go into business for yourself and you didn't do the submission that goes into his story and you wanted to go over clean and you talk the guy into it, guess what? You're done. You're not on TV anymore. You're out of the storyline. You'll sit on the sidelines for 6 months, and that's it. That's the only way they're going to learn, bro.
After that was a segment between MJF and Jericho that really didn't have any ramifications about it. Do you want to talk about it all, or do you want to go to the main event?
Go to the main event.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Yeah, so AEW World Champion Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. I thought it was a decent match. Yeah, I thought both guys worked really well. I mean, and this was a match you probably should give 2 segs to because it's the main event. It's your champ. So this would with the exception of all the other ridiculously long matches, this probably should have been the longest match of the night. Like, they should have made this one actually mean something. However, Jon Moxley is able to retain after he transitioned to a bulldog choke and Kingston passed out. Not tapped out, but Kingston passed out. And then after that, the Lucha Bros run out. They attack Moxley. Kingston comes to, but then Will Hobbs makes a save. Lucha Bros get the better of Hobbs, and then the big guy couldn't do it. And then so Tony Hawk comes out to make the save, i.e. Darby Allin. And then after clearing the ring, Darby is floored by a spear from Ricky Starks. Taz comes out, watches as the Lucha Bros, Kingston, and Starks continue to beat down. They pose together, and that's how Dynamite ends. Jesus, it's rough. Any final thoughts, Ben, on this match on the show?
It's always up to Darby Allin to be the regulator.
Yeah,
I know
he's the hero. We know.
Whenever I know we need somebody to fucking break up a fight, I always want to get the skinniest guy possible with the least amount of muscle mass to come in and take everybody out. That's always the way to do it. That's what you see. I mean, you see bar clearing brawls whenever it's NFL players, whatever. It's always a skinny little 140-pound white bouncer that comes in to regulate and clean house.
It's kind of like Robin put on the bad outfit.
Exactly, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. The match was good. as far as hard hitting and action between these two. I like both, both of the, I don't want to say that, I guess. I like what, they played the game out. I guess I'll say that. So Kingston was talking about how he never lost the Battle Royal. Here he can say he never lost to Moxley. So I like both of the ending of his losses, because those people say wins and losses mean something. They do, but not in a record like you're thinking at 2-0. It means something because he's lost, but he hasn't lost, and he's got a legit gripe. And that's the underlying premise of his storyline, that he hasn't been beaten. He might have been choked out, but he hasn't been pinned. He hasn't been eliminated. Nobody's pinned me yet. Now he's got a little something to needle people with. So if that's the way they were going, I thought that was smart. I wanted to put over that little piece of business inside of there.
Well, it's the epitome of a street hustler. You're not going to put him. You haven't put him down for the 1, 2, 3, so he's not out of the fight yet. That's what you're going to get there with Kingston. I wish they just would have ended with just match itself. Again, going back to finding that fire with Moxley, I think that would have been fine. Obviously, they got something else that they're unfolding. They want to get to more business going down. I was wondering if they're trying to set something up to get back to the Guts and Glory match, or the Blood and Guts match, whatever. Remember when they had to lose the War Game style match?
The thing is, you got to have Kingston. You got to have Kingston in a gimmick match, because his body doesn't look like a wrestler's. He looks like a hardcore guy, street fighter from Philly or whatever the fuck. So you got to play to his strengths that way.
And I think that perfectly plays into that, in that War Games theme. Hey, I'm going to bring my gang, get your gang. Anything goes here. And it's gonna come off a hell of a lot better than that Stadium Stampede comedy show that we got there between the Elite and the Inner Circle.
Well, guys, that's another edition of your Light the Fuse. One more thing here. We've got an email here from our resident Marky Mark. He says, hello, good sirs. Overall, I thought it was a good show tonight. I don't know what you were watching, bro. Miro looks like he's going for the fame, fortune, and the liver damage with his physique. With the influx of big men in the company, do you think a junior heavyweight title would be beneficial for some of the smaller guys? Eddie Kingston must have been on Twitter reading complaints about his title match. Shouldn't the announcers be the ones to put over why Eddie is in the title match? When I told my son just before the show started that Mox was defending the title tonight, he predicted it would be Eddie since he didn't get eliminated from the Battle Royale. Eddie made sense from a storyline perspective to him. I like this call out. He says JR was ripping on Kenny Omega for wearing a plain white t-shirt. Couldn't he have at least worn his own merch or someone else's merch to promote the AEW online store?
Isn't that brutal, bro? That's how checked out he really is, bro. And he haven't had to come out, I like the classic plain white. Nope. You dumb fuck. ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hamin. Wear my shirt at least. You wear the fucking merch, especially in a time where there's no fans in the audience to be buying merch from the merch table. It's Jesus Christ.
So hold on, let me finish this up. It's almost done with the email. So he says, I love Brodie's line about Brandy being a thirst trap online. Not sure if he did this as a joke or if it's still embedded in his brain from WWE, but we did get him calling Cody a coward. And then he also says, this is the last question for it, and I think this is a great question. Do you think the members of the Elite screwed themselves by not pushing themselves more as main eventers this past year? With all the new guys coming in, I'm not as interested as much in the Bucks and Omega, and would rather see guys like Miro and FTR dominate their respective divisions going forward. Stay sexy, cousin Marky Mark.
Massively undervalued themselves. Omega and the Bucks should be on top right now with Paige as top stars. So as a Matt Cardona and a Rusev and them come in, they're looked at on equal footing right now. Those guys look as less than, and here's the WWE stars. There's definitely a division in the pecking order as far as I'm concerned, and that was them being EVPs and not worrying about their own business and taking the thing of like, we need to get everybody else over. Remember when that Jericho said that? We got a lot of work to get everybody over. They've gotten nobody over. They've done the exact opposite. I'm not investing in 1, 2 guys the originals. And everybody is about 4 or 5 instead of having 3 guys that are level 10 and we can get them up because heels need to make
bad now.
Your heel. Fuck.
I would say the counter on that, I do agree that they should have pushed themselves more. They should have been those high profile spots. But I almost wonder if that's their ego, that they thought, hey, as Ben always says, you think you over, you're not fucking over. If they came in here and thought, hey, we are the biggest names in the world. We have changed professional wrestling. We don't have to be in the main event because our names alone on the marquee are going to sell all these other individuals, and it hasn't.
Yeah, Spectrum Internet's definitely not over. You can fucking all go die. I hope you fucking crash your cars on the fucking way home.
Well, guys, that's another edition of AEW Dynamite. We should get off here before Ben Hamin punches the screen and then has to go find you. He's gonna go to Spectrum. So we don't want that. Anything else, Rick, you want to put over before we end the show today?
No, just good to be back on the air with you guys, especially during the shakeup here. It's been a long time since I got to come on to light the fuse, just specifically talk a little AEW. But no, keep your eyes out and ears for across the interweb and all that. Back to something also that I love and haven't been able to do for a while. And that'd be at the play-by-play table tomorrow night for Battle on the Border Pro Wrestling from Aurora, Indiana. We got some big names there. Madman Fulton taking on Brian Pillman. I believe your boy Congo Kong going to be in the house there. Ben. Shane Douglas is inside of a cage, so it should be a pretty exciting night. We had limited tickets there. If anybody's out there in an earshot, the Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky area, if you want to come down this way for a hell of a show, we were capped at 250 tickets. Indiana last night has opened that up. We have a capacity of 600, so we're going to be selling them at the door.
Awesome, man. Let's pack that motherfucker out and get independent wrestling going, because it's shows like that they're going to start the ball rolling for every other goddamn place and get over this mental bullshit. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was also going to plug as well, if you're in the Denver area, or if you're just if you're an average hardcore wrestling fan, if you like death matches, check out Slave to the Death Match. It's going to be on October 3rd on Fight TV. I will be working production for that. Joe Vernola, who's also my host for the Suck My Balls podcast network. He's the promoter for that. So check that out. Slave to Deathmatch from Primo's Pro Wrestling on Fight TV. Or if you're in the Denver area, I think limited tickets are available like 50 to 100, depending on what the bar limit is or whatever the space limit is, I guess.
What the fuck, you cocksuckers? You guys are going to work shows. My tag partner's on it. My fucking producers and hosts are on it, and I can't get booked. Everybody's fucking fired. Fuck this show. Fuck everybody except for Silvio and Charles the Hammer Evans. Learn how to work your size and don't waste my goddamn time with any more of these ridiculous, stupid matches where everyone's trying to do spots and it's exposing everybody as brutally bad.
As Ben breaks up and we end the show. Ladies and gentlemen, another edition of Light the Fuse is complete. Put the shit out.
Fuck this.